Chapter 964. Art of Gu Fanxing. Sha Tianya and Lian Xing quickly looked at each other. Both of them circulated their profound Tao incantations and fused their soul power and Tao intent together. They condensed numerous mysterious stars that were covered with innate Tao patterns. With a powerful impact force, they smashed towards the Black God Ant. The Demon King and Demon Queen also made their moves at this moment. They used their terrifying devil arts and attacked the Black God Ant like a black tide. They wanted to heavily injure it. However, the Black God Ant was too powerful. It relied on its absolute strength to shatter Sha Tianya and the others' attacks. It quickly approached them, wanting to tear them apart. "Princess, should we help?" In a dark corner of the chaotic space, a tall and sturdy man in a blood-red robe looked at the Black God Ant that was unleashing its invincible might. He softly asked an eye-catching woman in a black dress beside him. She wore a silver mask and had a body as hot as poison. She was an eye-catching woman with a body as hot as poison. "I think they should be able to deal with that saint beast." The lady who looked like a dark elf looked at the tomb door that the Black God Ant was guarding. She seemed to be deep in thought. This lady in a black dress was none other than the one who had a dispute with Yi Chenfeng, Shui Hanyan. The man in a blood-red robe beside her was the owner of a mortal island, Zhen Jiotong, who had just broken through to rank 6 combat beast emperor. "Princess, who do you think was the first to enter Xingluo Imperial Mausoleum? Could it be someone from the other 2 divine nations?" Zhen Jiotong asked with a frown as he looked at the Black God Ant that was getting stronger and stronger. It was suppressing Sha Tianya, the Demon King and the others. "Do you think it could be that Yi Chenfeng?" Shui Hanyan's eyes that were hidden behind the silver mask flashed with a sharp light as she said with interest. "It can't be, right? With his strength, how could he subdue a saint beast?" Zhen Jiotong said doubtfully. "Don't underestimate that Yi Chenfeng. He is more terrifying than you can imagine." Shui Hanyan had some understanding of Yi Chenfeng. She knew that he was hiding a lot of secrets that even she could not imagine. As he spoke, the Black God Ant that was displaying its might once again used the earthquake technique. More than 200 million gene of strength and demonic energy instantly erupted. It attacked Sha Tianya and the others at a rate of several hundred times per second. Crack, crack. Under the shockingly powerful attack of the earthquake technique, the falling stars shattered one after another. The devil technique used by the Devil King and Devil Queen was also torn apart. The entire space fell into chaos. Flash after witnessing the might of the Black God Ant's attack, Sha Tianya and the Demon King's expressions changed. However, the Black God Ant's attack was too fast, and there were still several experts who couldn't dodge in time. They were crushed by the Black God Ant's earthquake technique, and not even their bones were left behind. Relying on his powerful strength, the Black God Ant did not follow up with another attack. He was like an invincible god of war, guarding the entrance of the Imperial Mausoleum. One man could hold off 10,000 men. Gu Fanxing. Sha Tianya took a deep breath and suppressed the surging qi and blood in his body. He summoned Gu Fanxing and controlled this astonishingly powerful Gu Dao treasure to crash into Yi Chenfeng. Heavenly Tiger Banner. The instant the Gu Fanxing twisted space and crashed into Sha Tianya, the black-robed Demon King also took out a Gu Dao treasure. The banner had a ferocious heavenly tiger engraved on it. It quickly shook, condensing the image of a tiger and pouncing towards the Black God Ant. Boom, boom, boom. The 2 Gu Dao treasures attacked, but the Black God Ant did not dodge. He swung his heavy fists and attacked the 2 Gu Dao treasures with heaven-shaking strength. Relying on his absolute strength and terrifying demonic energy, he forced the 2 Gu Dao treasures to retreat again and again. "Too strong, this saint beast is too strong. If he gives up on guarding the entrance of the Imperial Mausoleum and recklessly charges over, he will definitely bring us a devastating disaster." Lian Xing frowned when she saw that Sha Tianya and the Demon King were unable to injure the Black God Ant despite controlling the two Gu Dao treasures. What should we do? At this moment, the same thought appeared in everyone's mind. With the invincible Black God Ant guarding the entrance of the Xingluo Imperial Mausoleum, they had no chance of entering the Imperial Mausoleum to obtain the great fortune inside. However, when they thought about the secret of the Xingluo Imperial Mausoleum and the possibility that the Star Emperor's Nirvana heart was inside, they knew that they could not give up just like that. Otherwise, they would regret it for the rest of their lives. Old City Lord Sha, do you have a good method to deal with that Saint Beast? The Demon King, who was emitting dense demonic energy, asked with a serious expression. That Saint Beast is too strong. If we want to injure it, we can only use the power of the formation to injure it, Sha Tianya said with a serious expression. You have the formation diagram? Although the Demon King also had a trump card that could turn the tides, he could only use it once. Unless it was absolutely necessary, he would not use it. Yes, I have the 4 directions killing formation diagram. If the 4 of us enter the 4 directions killing formation diagram, we should be able to suppress that Saint Beast. With the help of Hall Master Sin and the others, we should have a chance of killing it. In order to obtain the great fortune inside the Xingluo Imperial Mausoleum, Sha Tianya had no choice but to reveal his trump card and take out a precious formation diagram. Alright, let's enter the formation. Looking at the formation diagram that was floating above Sha Tianya's head, and getting bigger and bigger, the Demon King and the Demon Queen, who were both level 6 combat beast emperors, quickly entered the formation. Sha Tianya and Lian Xing also entered the formation at the same time. The 4 of them took control of the north, south, east, and west respectively, and poured all of their soul power into the formation diagram. Immediately, boundless killing intent gushed out from the 4 directions killing formation, turning into a huge sword that could split the heavens and earth, slashing towards the Black God Ant. Boom! The Black God Ant did not dodge as the huge sword of killing intent slashed towards him. Instead, he poured his terrifying strength and demonic energy into his right fist. He compressed his strength and demonic energy to the extreme and smashed the huge sword of killing intent with a punch. After the first slash, Sha Tianya and the other 3 borrowed the might of the formation diagram and continued to condense the huge sword of killing intent, slashing towards the Black God Ant. Layers of huge sword of killing intent slashed down ferociously, overlapping each other endlessly, clashing with the Black God Ant's attacks. The 2 of them fought intensely. For a moment, all sound in the world was swallowed up. The terrifying collision created a terrifying shockwave that exploded outside the Xingluo Imperial Mausoleum. The ground trembled violently, and countless boulders were shattered. Many cultivators who were not as strong were sent flying, vomiting blood from their heavy injuries, and collapsed in the forest thousands of meters away. 4 directions killing formation, 4 directions combined into one. Sha Tianya's soul power surged, and he gathered the killing intent from the 4 directions together, forming a peerless sword of killing intent. He tore through the void and ruthlessly slashed towards the Black God Ant. Boom! After a loud explosion, the Black God Ant was forced back by the peerless sword of killing intent. A trace of blood flowed out from his fist, and the demonic energy in his body trembled violently. Lowly humans, you dare to injure me? I will tear you apart. The Black God Ant was completely enraged by the injuries it received. It let out an uncontrollable roar and rushed towards the 4 directions killing formation while facing the incoming sword of killing intent. Attack! The Sun Luo Hall Master, Sun Ming, and the others, who had been waiting for an opportunity, did not waste the Black God Ant's opportunity to leave the Xingluo Imperial Mausoleum. They attacked at the same time, using their powerful Dao skills. They controlled their Dao treasures and heavenly treasures to attack the Black God Ant. For a moment, the entire space was filled with Dao shadows and soul lights. The Tao skills that came from all directions were like a giant mouth that swallowed the black god ant whole. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record your reading history. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 965. Although the black god ant was strong, Shatinya's four directions killing array was extremely powerful. In addition to Sun Ming, the great demon envoy, and the black and white demon envoy's attacks, the black god ant's attacks were completely suppressed. Heaven-rending and earth-rending, the black divine ant went berserk after suffering the continuous destructive attack. Monstrous demonic energy suddenly erupted, tearing apart the chaotic void. It was as if the heavens were falling and the earth was collapsing as it swept out in all directions, shattering the soul skills and Tao shadows that covered the sky and earth. In the next moment, the black god ant transformed into its true form. Its sharp, sickle-like teeth shone with a demonic light. Its huge body charged forward, crashing into the four directions killing array. Absolute kill sword. When the black god ant transformed into its true form, Shatinya's group immediately activated the four directions killing array and slashed out with absolute kill sword. Boom, boom, boom. Sword after sword slashed down. The terrifying attacks shattered the black god ant's true form and forced it to fall to the ground. Let's go, we will enter the Xingluo Imperial Mausoleum. Shui Hanyan saw that the black god ant was being suppressed by the four directions killing array and was about to enter the Xingluo Imperial Mausoleum with Zhen Jiotong. Suddenly, 5 figures flew out from the Xingluo Imperial Mausoleum. It's really you. Seeing Yi Chunfeng fly out of the Xingluo Imperial Mausoleum, Shui Hanyan's beautiful eyes lit up. However, because she was wearing a silver mask, no one noticed the change in her expression. How dare you bully my contract beast? I will exterminate all of you today. Xia Wendy saw the injured black god ant and was instantly enraged. A powerful killing intent was emitted from her body as she controlled the four beasts' flag to meet the experts from the 3 major powers. When Xia Wendy made her move, Shatinya's group also controlled their Tao artifacts to attack. Facing a mortal enemy, the 3 of them did not show any mercy. They used all of their skills and started a frenzied massacre. After finding their own opportunities in the Xingluo Imperial Mausoleum, Kong Sungchen's group's strength had clearly increased. Under their all-out attacks, the experts from the 3 major powers were constantly dying, completely disrupting the situation. Just as Yi Chunfeng summoned his heavenly halberd and wanted to join the battle, a blurry shadow blocked his path. Shui Hanyan. Although Shui Hanyan was wearing a silver mask that covered her beautiful face, Yi Chunfeng recognized her identity at first glance. Yi Chunfeng, you've given me another surprise. Shui Hanyan said without a trace of emotion. Do you know that I am determined to get the Xingluo Imperial Mausoleum? I have planned for a long time to get the opportunity inside. Wishes are beautiful, but reality is cruel. Shui Hanyan, you have to learn to accept reality. Yi Chunfeng said indifferently. What if I don't want to learn? Shui Hanyan asked. You'll be pissed to death. Yi Chunfeng said sternly, not hesitating at all. Yi Chunfeng, long time no see. You're much more interesting than before. Shui Hanyan let out a series of crisp laughter. Suddenly, Shui Hanyan struck out a palm. Her soft and boneless hand exploded with amazing power, twisting the space and pressing towards Yi Chunfeng's chest. Shui Hanyan's palm was extremely sudden, but Yi Chunfeng reacted faster. He quickly overlapped his hand in front of his chest and met Shui Hanyan's palm attack head-on. His reaction was not slow. Shui Hanyan's aura suddenly surged. Today, let me see how much your strength has improved. With that, Shui Hanyan shouted. The low-grade Taoist weapon, Dancing Butterfly Sword, appeared in her hand. It intertwined into streaks of sharp sword shadows, like lifelike butterflies flapping their wings, enveloping Yi Chunfeng. Shui Hanyan attacked with all her strength. Yi Chen's wind trident burst forth. He brandished his Fangtian halberd, creating layers upon layers of halberd shadows. He continuously tore apart Shui Hanyan's attacks and fought fiercely with her 6 yin-yang swords. While Yi Chunfeng was using brute force to break her technique, Shui Hanyan flicked her wrist, and the will of the yin-yang will of the great Tao erupted and fused into the dancing butterfly sword. Beams of yin-yang sword aura shot out, mixed with powerful will of the great Tao, cutting through everything in its path as it slashed towards Yi Chunfeng. 2 extremes Tao of life and death. The 6 yin-yang swords attacked. Yi Chunfeng quickly struck out a palm. The terrifying Tao will of life and death gathered in his palm, forming a yin-yang Tao disc, constantly crushing the yin-yang swords and neutralizing the attacks. 2 extremes Tao of life and death. It turns out that the person who snatched this supreme grade Taoist skill is you. Shui Hanyan let out a surprised sound. I should have known. Why? Are you very surprised? Yi Chunfeng asked with a faint smile. It was indeed surprising that you could cultivate a supreme grade Taoist skill with an incomplete incantation. Yi Chunfeng, you are more outstanding than I thought. Shui Hanyan was not stingy with her compliments, but she did not slow down her attack. She unleashed the yin-yang Tao will and sword Tao will to the extreme, attacking Yi Chunfeng with all her strength. She wanted to rely on her advantage in cultivation to suppress him. However, after breaking through to the level 4 combat beast emperor realm, Yi Chunfeng's strength became extremely terrifying. Life and death Tao will, 5 elements Tao will, heaven and earth Tao will constantly gushed out of his body, strengthening his attacks as he fought fiercely with Shui Hanyan. Because Yi Chunfeng's comprehension of Tao will was too deep, he borrowed the power of Tao will to fight evenly with Shui Hanyan, who was a level 6 combat beast emperor. While Yi Chunfeng and Shui Hanyan were fighting fiercely, Xia Wendi was standing on top of the black god ant, fighting fiercely with Sha Tianya and the other 3 who had formed the 4 sides killing formation. 4 beasts flag, 4 beasts frenzy. Xia Wendi poured her Tao will and soul power into the 4 beasts flag, controlling it to spin rapidly, forming the shadows of an azure dragon, white tiger, vermilion bird, and black tortoise. They roared and attacked the 4 sides killing formation. After fusing with the Nirvana heart, Xia Wendi had reached the limit of a level 5 combat beast emperor. Her strength had become even more terrifying. Controlling the 4 beasts flag to attack brought great pressure to the 4 sides killing formation. In addition to the black god ant's ferocious attacks, Sha Tianya and the other 3 couldn't hold on any longer. Cracks appeared on the formation diagram under their feet. Heavenly Mountain Tao Talisman, the black god ant rammed with all its strength, forcing the 4 sides killing formation to retreat. Xia Wendi took out the Heavenly Mountain Tao Talisman, controlling this Gu Dao treasure to grow bigger and bigger. It was like a towering mountain, fiercely pressing down, smashing towards the 4. Gu Fanqing Sha Tianya's expression changed. He multitasked, controlling Gu Fanqing to crash into the Heavenly Mountain Tao Talisman, blocking the mountain-like pressure. Star Tao Diagram, Life and Death Tao Diagram, Attack. Xia Wendi never showed mercy to her enemies. When the Heavenly Mountain Tao Talisman was blocked by Gu Fanqing, Xia Wendi's Star Tao Diagram and Life and Death Tao Diagram appeared in her hands. With destructive power, she fiercely attacked the 4 sides killing formation. Boom boom. After receiving Xia Wendi's all-out attack, more cracks appeared on the 4 sides killing formation. The powerful dual Tao intent shook Sha Tianya and the other 3, causing their attacks to be interrupted. Heaven falling and earth rending at this moment, the black god ant also launched its strongest attack. Its terrifying demonic energy shattered the void and bombarded the 4 sides killing formation. With a loud boom, the 4 sides killing formation formed by Sha Tianya and the other 3 was shattered under the black god ant's all-out attack. The 4 were sent flying by the sky-shattering power, suffering different degrees of injuries. black god ant, kill them for me. Xia Wendy looked at the broken formation diagram and the 4 people vomiting blood, and gave the kill order. Don't worry, master, I will definitely tear them apart. With that, the murderous black god ant let out a roar and charged towards Sha Tianya and the other 3. It attacked them with all its strength, determined to kill them and vent the hatred in its heart. Mobile reading website, book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 966. Zhen Jiotong, quickly go help. Shui Hanyan, who had transformed into her beast soul form and was fighting fiercely with Yi Chunfeng, saw that Sha Tianya and the others were in danger. She immediately transmitted her voice to Zhen Jiotong, asking him to help. Watermark advertisement test good. Zhen Jiotong quickly formed a seal with his hands. The Tao of life and death surged as he quickly struck out the Tao of life and death. He forcefully forced Kong Sungchen, whose white hair was fluttering in the wind, to retreat and help. Junior, you want to leave before the battle with I is over? Kong Sungchen took a step forward. His entire body drew an afterimage in the air and instantly intercepted Zhen Jiotong, who was trying to break out with all his strength. Then, powerful Tao of stars surged out of his body, forming a hand seal that seemed to contain the sun, moon, and stars. It carried an astonishing destructive power as it pressed towards Zhen Jiotong. Boom! The sun, moon, and stars collided with Zhen Jiotong's ultimate move, creating a powerful impact. Without giving Zhen Jiotong a chance to catch his breath, Jiang Xingchen, whose star robe fluttered in the wind, continued to attack him. His ferocious attacks completely suppressed Zhen Jiotong, making it impossible for him to help Sha Tianya and the others. Demonic ghost chains Kong Sungchen entangled Zhen Jiotong. Yi Chunfeng also took advantage of Shui Hanyan's distraction to form 5 demonic ghost chains, sealing off the space she could dodge and forcefully restricting her movements. Sacred thunder of purple beginnings, break. While Shui Hanyan's movements were restricted, the sacred thunder of purple beginnings with astonishing destructive power gushed out from Yi Chunfeng's body. It was like a purple dragon, bringing with it a deafening thunder as it bombarded her. Rumble! The deafening thunder resounded. The sacred thunder of purple beginnings instantly disintegrated Shui Hanyan's attack and fiercely struck her body. It tore her clothes and sent her flying. A trace of blood flowed from the corner of her mouth. However, Shui Hanyan only suffered light injuries from the sacred thunder of purple beginnings at close range. Her torn clothes revealed a very soft black inner armor made of special materials. Mid-grade Tao artifact-grade inner armor. Yi Chunfeng frowned. He didn't expect Shui Hanyan to have such a high grade of inner armor. Middle-grade offensive Tao tools were already very rare in the fighting spirit continent, let alone a mid-grade Tao tool inner armor. This was enough to prove Shui Hanyan's extraordinary identity. Yi Chunfeng, you're really surprising me more and more. I really want to know how many more tricks you're hiding, Shui Hanyan said lightly as she looked at Yi Chunfeng with a sharp gaze. But no one knew what she was really thinking. Shui Hanyan, bring out your true abilities. Only then will you be able to force me to reveal my true trump card. Yi Chunfeng put away his powerful halberd into the universe realm and took out his high-grade Tao artifact, the Emperor Heaven Sword, as he spoke in a sharp voice. After speaking, Yi Chunfeng swiftly slashed out with his sword towards Shui Hanyan at an astonishing speed. When Shui Hanyan used the dancing butterfly sword to block Yi Chunfeng's attack, Deityan's sword radiance shot out a sharp power of the way of the sword. It passed through the dancing butterfly sword and struck the silver mask on her face. The silver mask was directly split open, revealing Shui Hanyan's beautiful face that did not have any makeup on. High-grade Tao artifact. Although Yi Chunfeng had slashed at her mask, Shui Hanyan still didn't have much expression on her face. However, her deep eyes were like stars that were getting brighter and brighter. She stared at Yi Chunfeng as though she wanted to see through him. Shui Hanyan, do you still want to continue fighting? If you don't want to, I'll go and help them kill. Yi Chunfeng didn't have any deep grudges with Shui Hanyan, let alone the fact that they had a kiss. Seeing Shui Hanyan staring at him in silence, Yi Chunfeng said loudly, "Fight." Shui Hanyan suddenly smiled, a smile that could topple cities. Under the cover of her beautiful smile, her body suddenly sped up and transformed into an afterimage as she attacked Yi Chunfeng. Mad Devil Hammer. When she instantly approached Yi Chunfeng, the Mad Devil Hammer appeared in Shui Hanyan's fair and tender hands. When she continuously injected soul power into the Mad Devil Hammer, it became bigger and bigger. With the terrifying power of the Mad Devil, it was like a huge falling mountain as it continuously smashed towards Yi Chunfeng. God Devil Bloodline. Yi Chunfeng had already experienced the terror of the Mad Devil Hammer. He directly ignited his God Devil Bloodline and transformed into his God Devil body. He raised his physical strength to 150 million Jin and faced the Mad Devil Hammer head-on. Boom! 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 Deafening explosions rang out incessantly. While Yi Chunfeng relied on his absolute strength to resist the Mad Devil Hammer, he continuously attacked Shui Hanyan in an attempt to suppress her attacks. True devil transformation. After witnessing the fearsomeness of the godly devil physique, Shui Hanyan also transformed into the true devil physique. Her jet-black hair extended all the way to her buttocks, and her enchanting figure became even hotter. Her whole body was like a poison, exuding an irresistible allure. Yin-Yang Dao diagram. Shui Hanyan punched out. Hundreds of Yin-Yang Dao patterns gushed out like flowing water and turned into a Yin-Yang Dao diagram. It released the power of both Yin and Yang, disrupted the space and attacked Yi Chunfeng. Sword Soul, break from me! Yi Chunfeng's pupils shrank. The sword soul flew out of his sea of soul and pierced the Yin-Yang Dao diagram like a meteor. In the next moment, a terrifying sword Dao diagram appeared in the sword soul. It instantly amplified the power of the sword soul. It crushed the Yin-Yang Dao patterns and pierced through the Yin-Yang Dao diagram, stabbing towards Shui Hanyan's chest. Sword Soul, you actually condensed a sword soul. Seeing that Yi Chunfeng had actually condensed a sword soul, Shui Hanyan was moved. She executed her sword steps and dodged rapidly, dodging the shocking attack of the sword soul. Shui Hanyan, are you still not going to use your trump card? If you still don't use your trump card, I'm afraid you will lose to me. Yi Chunfeng looked at Shui Hanyan with a smile that didn't look like a smile, as he spoke domineeringly. You are indeed the man that I fancy. You have surprised me time and time again. However, I don't want to use my trump card because that would be unfair to you. Furthermore, once I use it, you will definitely lose. Shui Hanyan concealed the shock on her face and spoke in a calm voice. Are you that confident? Yi Chunfeng frowned slightly. Are you that confident? Shui Hanyan nodded her head and spoke without a doubt. However, I don't believe you and want to see your final trump card. As he spoke, Yi Chunfeng fused his sword soul into the Emperor Sky Sword, increasing the attacking power of the Emperor Sky Sword to the greatest extent. He wanted to launch a thunderous attack on Shui Hanyan to force her to use her final trump card. However, at this moment, a world-shaking explosion came from the horizon. The Demon King, who was only left with the strength to defend, consumed an elixir that was covered with elixir patterns. Suddenly, a terrifying power erupted from his body and forced Xia Wendy and the Black God Ant, who were both unleashing their invincible might, back dozens of meters. Yi Chunfeng, didn't you want to know what my final trump card is? That is my final trump card. Shui Hanyan pointed at the Demon King, who had broken through the limits of a Class 6 combat beast emperor, and spoke indifferently. One-star Dao Saint Yi Chunfeng felt that the Demon King's strength had reached an unimaginable level and opened his eyes wide. No, to be precise, it was nirvana. Shui Hanyan shook her head and said, If I had also broken through to Nirvana, do you think you would have a chance of defeating me? No. Yi Chunfeng sighed helplessly. Although his strength was extraordinary and he had the 9-dragon jade annulus and the Qiankuan sword formation, it was impossible for him to defeat Nirvana, unless he used his life spirit technique. Don't worry, my little man. Shui Hanyan looked at Yi Chunfeng's helpless look and smiled sweetly. You are someone I have my eyes on. I won't use the Nirvana elixir to deal with you. Yi Chunfeng, mobile reading website, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record this reading. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 967. 10 Layers of Heaven. Kill. With the help of the Nirvana elixir, the Demon King possessed the power of Nirvana for a short period of time. He wielded the Black Demon heavy sword and slashed out the 10 layers of heaven. Kill. It carried boundless killing intent as it slashed towards Xia Wendy and the Black God Ant Demon Weeps. Mountains and rivers facing the Demon King's killing move, the Black God Ant did not dodge. It once again transformed into its most powerful battle form. Its demonic aura soared to the sky as it punched out with its fists like meteors. Let's attack together and kill that little girl first. Sha Tianyao, who got a chance to catch his breath, looked at Xia Wendy, who was stained with blood, and said coldly. Sha Tianyao and the other two attacked together, using powerful Dao techniques to attack Xia Wendy. They wanted to gather everyone's power to kill her. Xia Wendy was just injured by the Demon King's Nirvana power. Now that she was attacked by Sha Tianyao and the other two, she was in a dangerous situation. Her attacks were completely suppressed by the 3 level 6 combat beast emperors. Seeing that Xia Wendy was in danger, Yi Chunfeng immediately used his sword steps to save her. However, Shui Hanyan was faster. She intercepted Yi Chunfeng and said with a faint smile, "What, is that girl your little lover?" "No, she is my friend." Yi Chunfeng looked at Shui Hanyan's hostile face and said, "Yi Chunfeng, do you know that a woman's jealousy is very strong? If she was your little lover, I would definitely destroy her." Shui Hanyan said domineeringly. "Shui Hanyan, don't tease me. Our relationship is not that good." Yi Chunfeng frowned and said, "That was before. Now I am very interested in you, so you can't escape from my palm." Shui Hanyan's mouth slightly curved up, revealing a seductive smile. "And I have a feeling that I will like you." "Shui Hanyan, you are too domineering. You are not likable." Yi Chunfeng could not understand Shui Hanyan's thoughts. He could not figure out what she wanted to do. "Is that so? Why do I feel that you will also fall in love with me?" Shui Hanyan smiled and said, "So you better not be so fickle in front of me right now. Otherwise, when the day comes that you fall in love with me, I will make you pay the price for your affection." While speaking, Xia Dai, who was constantly defending, was hit by a star covered in Dao patterns. She left behind a cloud of blood in the air and fell to the ground like a kite with a broken string. Seeing that Xia Wendy was in danger, Yi Chunfeng's heart tightened. He used his Dao treasure, the cloud treading boots, and pushed his speed to the limit, wanting to save her at full speed. "Yi Chunfeng, your choice is really heartbreaking, but I won't let you save your little lover." Shui Hanyan released boundless devil qi from her body, dyeing the void. Like black devil vines, they wrapped around Yi Chunfeng's body, forcibly slowing him down. True Devil Skystrike. Next, Shui Hanyan unleashed her ultimate move. Her Dao will and devil qi converged together, forming a terrifying beam of light that distorted space and shot towards Yi Chunfeng. Boom! Yi Chunfeng unleashed his strongest power and swung the Emperor's celestial sword to clash with Shui Hanyan's killer move. However, the power of the perfected Devil Sky Strike was too great. The instant Yi Chunfeng blocked the perfected Devil Sky Strike, he was forced back a few meters and was unable to save Xia Wendy. Qiangu Qiu, Ling Yu, Shui He, Third Uncle Fu, and the 3 heavenly beasts quickly came out to help. In the critical situation, Yi Chunfeng summoned Qiangu Qiu and the other 3 heavenly beasts, as well as the 3 level 8 heavenly beasts that he had subdued earlier. They attacked Xingluo Heavenly City and the other 2 forces. Qiangu Qiu, why are you not dead? Why are you with He Yan? Sha Tianyao, Lian Xing, and the others opened their eyes wide when they saw Qiangu Qiu charging towards them with the flying snow sword. It was as if they had seen a ghost. From their point of view, Yi Chunfeng had left the heavenly tomb alive, which meant that Qiangu Qiu was dead. However, they did not expect that Qiangu Qiu was still alive. Moreover, he was with Yi Chunfeng, following him blindly. Could it be that the 2 of them had put on a show? Sha Tianya could not help but suspect the relationship between Yi Chunfeng and Qiangu Qiu. With Qiangu Qiu's help, the pressure on Xiao Wendy was greatly reduced. Using the Nirvana Heart, she forcibly suppressed her injuries and fought Sha Tianya and the other 2 with Qiangu Qiu, who was using the Green Heaven Art and full of heaven energy. The fierce battle between the Black God Ant and the Demon King had also reached its climax. Although the Demon King had consumed the Nirvana elixir and temporarily possessed the strength of the Nirvana realm, his attacks were abnormally terrifying and could shatter the void with a wave of his hand. However, the Black God Ant was a saint beast after all. The demonic energy in its body was endless. In addition to the Black God Ant's boundless strength, the Demon King's attacks were gradually suppressed. The Demon King's consecutive killer moves were also destroyed by the Black God Ant's absolute strength. As for Jiang Xingchen and the other 2, with the help of Ling Yu and the other 2, as well as the 3 level 8 heavenly beasts, the pressure on them was even lighter. The experts from the 3 major forces were forced to retreat again and again. Shui Hanyan, you're done for. As Yi Chunfeng fought with Shui Hanyan, he tried to provoke her and disturb her heart. Fine, I'll spare you and your little lover today. However, I want you to pass on a message to her. Don't let her fall into my hands. Otherwise, I'll make her beg for death. Shui Hanyan did not seem to care about today's defeat. She wanted to leave after saying those words. Bitch, where are you going? Xiaowendai's ears were extremely sharp, and she heard every single word of Shui Hanyan's words. She flew into a rage, and under Qiangu Qiu's protection, she suddenly turned around and attacked Shui Hanyan with a star diagram and life and death diagram. If I want to leave, you can't stop me. A sword diagram appeared under Shui Hanyan's feet. With a single step, she appeared 1,000 meters away, dodging the attacks of the star diagram and life and death diagram. The space she was in could not withstand the attacks of the 2 Dao diagrams, and a large hole was blasted in it. Sword steps major perfection. You've actually cultivated your sword steps to major perfection. Seeing the speed of Shui Hanyan's sword steps, Yi Chunfeng revealed a trace of surprise. He didn't expect Shui Hanyan to be so talented. She was 1 step ahead of him and cultivated the sword steps to the great accomplishment realm. Demon King, you'll cover us. Let's go. Since the battle was over, Shui Hanyan did not want to stay any longer. She wanted to break out of the encirclement. However, Qiangu Qiu, Kong Sungchen, and the others did not give them a chance to escape. They attacked with all their might, determined to take their lives. Demon Chain, seeing that Zhen Jiotong, the black and white demon envoys, were entangled, Shui Hanyan quickly took out several black balls of light from her yin and yang ring and threw them into the void. The balls of light formed thousands of black chains. She controlled the chains with her will and wrapped them around Qiangu Qiu, Kong Sungchen, and the others. When Qiangu Qiu and the others tore apart the demon chains, other than the powerful Demon King, everyone else escaped into the forest. True Demon Sky strike True Demon Sword Tao of Life and Death. When the Demon King saw that Shui Hanyan and the others had successfully escaped, he ignored the exhaustion of his body and continued to attack the Black God Ant. The void collapsed, and the Demon King forcibly broke through the Black God Ant's attack, interrupting the pursuit of the others. In the next moment, the Demon King's body flashed, and he flew away like a wisp of black smoke. The chaotic space gradually returned to normal. Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 968. Yi Chunfeng, what's your relationship with that woman? Xia Wendy stared at Yi Chunfeng with her beautiful phoenix eyes and asked fiercely. Watermark advertisement test. Obviously, she was still brooding over Shui Hanyan's words. Friend or foe? Yi Chunfeng pondered for a moment and gave a fair evaluation. Humph, I think your soul has been stolen by that vixen. Xia Wendy snorted and said, shameless. Yi Chunfeng also didn't know if Xia Wendy was referring to him or Shui Hanyan when she said shameless, but seeing her angry eyes, Yi Chunfeng didn't ask for a rebuff. Yi Chunfeng, let me ask you, between me and that vixen, who is prettier? Xia Wendy asked with hostility. Hearing Xia Wendy's question, Yi Chunfeng had an impulse to go crazy. It was like saving one's wife and mother in the water. It was hard to answer. Both are prettier. Yi Chunfeng pondered for a moment and said, you stinking pervert, you still want to enjoy the blessings of two women? Xia Wendy scolded without any trace of politeness. You can't reason with a woman and you can't be serious with a woman, then you will lose. Looking at the aggressive Xia Wendy, Yi Chunfeng understood a principle and changed the topic. Let's leave here first. After speaking, Yi Chunfeng took the lead and left under the smiling gaze of Kong Sungchen and others. The overlapping peaks of the mountains, the clouds are deep. This was the famous phrase used to describe the highest peak of the chaotic cloud peak in ancient book. At the highest peak of the chaotic cloud peak, Xia Wendy sat cross-legged and operated the Tao formula to quickly heal her injuries, recover her energy and adjust her state. As for Yi Chunfeng and the others, they surrounded the highest peak of chaotic cloud, surrounding Xia Wendy in the middle. Yi Chunfeng and others were so careful and sealed the entire space, because after the battle just now, Xia Wendy and the Nirvana heart had perfectly merged, and she felt the breath of heaven's punishment. If Xia Wendy could survive the heavenly punishment, she would be able to borrow the power of the heavenly punishment to completely refine the Nirvana heart and turn it into a part of her body, breaking through to the level 6 Beast Emperor realm. However, Xia Wendy was very clear that the heavenly punishment she would attract after fusing with the Nirvana heart would definitely not be simple. She had to be in her best condition to receive the baptism of the heavenly punishment. Only then would she be able to overcome it. The slightest mistake or carelessness could result in failure at the very last step and being struck to death by the heavens. What kind of punishment would she incur? Qinggu Qiu knew that the Nirvana heart had been obtained by Xia Wendy. Seeing her meditating with her eyes closed, he couldn't help but wonder what kind of heavenly punishment a heaven-defying treasure like the Nirvana heart would attract. On the other hand, Kong Sungchen, Bai Feng, and the others also looked excited and worried. He was excited that he would be able to witness the highest level of heavenly punishment and gain some insights through Xia Wendy's tribulation. However, he was worried that Xia Wendy would fail her tribulation. If that happened, they wouldn't be able to answer to the Xia clan. After about a day or so, a violent gust of wind blew over, causing the clouds above the chaotic cloud peak to roll violently like waves in the sea. A terrifying pressure formed in the sky, like a giant hand of the 5 elements, ruthlessly pressing down. Sensing that the heavenly punishment was coming, Xia Wendy, who was sitting on the peak of the chaotic cloud peak, opened her eyes. Her cute face revealed a trace of seriousness. Through the pressure in the sky, she felt that the might of the heavenly punishment this time was probably beyond her imagination. Xia Wendy, these 2 life spirit grasses are for you. Yi Chunfeng was not stingy. He took out 2 life spirit grasses that could bring a person back to life and threw them to Xia Wendy, who was preparing to face the heavenly punishment with all her might. Xia Wendy's eyes revealed a trace of surprise. She nodded at Yi Chenfeng, then put one of the life spirit grasses into her mouth and the other into her yin-yang ring, in case of an emergency. Roughly 2 hours later, the sky that was filled with a terrifying pressure was suddenly covered by dark clouds. The dark clouds rolled in from all directions like an army of thousands of men and horses, devouring all the light. The entire world darkened. Xia Wendy, do you need me to lend you the 9-dragon jade annulus? Feeling that the tribulation clouds were getting thicker and thicker, revealing a destructive power that made one's heart palpitate, Yi Chenfeng immediately transmitted his voice to Xia Wendy, asking, "No need, these 2 life spirit grasses are enough for me to face the heavenly punishment." Xia Wendy shook her head. Her beautiful eyes revealed an incomparably strong confidence. Boom, boom, boom. After another incense stick's worth of time, the tribulation clouds that were 1,000 feet thick began to emit dense thunderous sounds. Lightning snakes that were as thick as buckets danced wildly in the tribulation clouds. What kind of heavenly punishment would Xia Wendy attract? Looking at the tribulation clouds that were torn apart by the lightning snakes in the sky, Yi Chenfeng wanted to know what kind of heavenly punishment would descend in a moment. Boom, boom, boom. Tens of thousands of lightning snakes wantonly for an incense stick's worth of time. Suddenly, an earth-shattering thunderous sound rang out, shaking the entire void. In the next moment, countless lightning snakes broke through the violently tumbling tribulation clouds and quickly gathered, forming a dark gray lightning bolt that was like a wild dragon. It roared wildly as it struck down. The moment this dark gray lightning struck down, the entire space couldn't bear the heavy pressure, and a large number of cracks appeared. Nascent sacred lightning, this dark gray lightning had reached the level of nascent sacred lightning. Feeling that the dark gray lightning was comparable to the purple beginning sacred lightning, Yi Chenfeng revealed a shocked expression. The might of nascent sacred lightning was extremely terrifying. Even a 6th-level combat beast emperor wouldn't dare to face it head-on. However, Xia Wendy attracted the continuous attack of nascent sacred lightning during her tribulation. This made Yi Chenfeng sweat for her. When the dark gray lightning comparable to nascent sacred lightning was about to strike Xia Wendy, the star Tao intent and life and death Tao intent in her body gushed out, turning into 2 frightening Tao diagrams that sealed the space above her head, resisting the gray lightning. When the gray lightning struck the 2 Tao diagrams, it immediately split the star Tao diagram and the life and death Tao diagram apart. The frightening lightning energy passed through the 2 Tao diagrams and struck Xia Wendy's body, wanting to destroy her. However, after being weakened by the 2 Tao diagrams, the gray lightning's might was weakened to the extreme. The strands of gray lightning couldn't harm Xia Wendy's body at all, and she easily blocked them. Nirvana Heart, ignite. However, as time passed, more and more cracks appeared on the 2 Tao diagrams. Just as the 2 Tao diagrams were about to be shattered by the gray lightning, Xia Wendy ignited her Nirvana Heart, releasing a powerful nirvana energy that poured into the 2 Tao diagrams. The Star Emperor's Nirvana Heart contained a frightening amount of energy. After fusing with the nirvana energy of the Nirvana Heart, the cracks on the 2 Tao diagrams were quickly repaired. The extremely destructive gray lightning couldn't threaten Xia Wendy's life at all. Suddenly, the frightening gray lightning strangely disappeared. Xia Wendy used the 2 Tao diagrams to resist the baptism of the gray lightning of nascent sacred lightning. However, passing through the first layer of heavenly punishment so quickly didn't make Xia Wendy happy. Instead, she was shocked, and her expression became even more serious. There must be a demon behind this abnormality. Xia Wendy felt that the heavenly punishment below would be even more frightening. Sure enough, just as Xia Wendy had imagined, a strange black hole suddenly appeared in the violently tumbling tribulation clouds. It crazily swallowed the tribulation cloud's power. In the next instant, a 30-foot-tall Thunder War god appeared from the black hole. His body was covered in lightning, and he walked down step by step. Seeing the Thunder War God appear in the sky, Yi Chenfeng's eyes widened. He never would have thought that the heavenly punishment that Xia Wendi's Nirvana heart would attract would be one of the most frightening heavenly punishments recorded in ancient texts, a humanoid heavenly punishment. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to make it easier for you to read next time, you can click on the Collect button below to record your reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 969. Heavenly Punishment in Human Form. This kind of heavenly punishment really exists. Qingu Qiu, Kong Sungchen, and the others stared at the lightning war god with wide eyes, completely dumbfounded. Watermark advertisement test Qingu Qiu was of the opinion that few people were worthy of his attention, but he felt that whether it was talent or opportunity, he couldn't compare to Xia Wendi. If he were to switch places with Xia Wendi, he felt that he would definitely be struck to death by heavenly punishment in human form. How could it be this kind of heavenly punishment? Xia Wendi's brows furrowed tightly together as she felt immense pressure. If she didn't die in heavenly punishment, then she would live forever in it. Soon, Xia Wendi dispelled the trace of unease in her heart and controlled the star Dao diagram to attack the lightning war god. Rumble! The lightning war god's vortex-like eyes flashed with lightning as the two Dao diagrams approached. Countless bolts of lightning gathered in his right hand, forming a 10-meter-long lightning saber. He slashed through the air at the two Dao diagrams. Boom! Boundless heavenly lightning exploded, causing the earth to tremble and mountains to tremble. Lightning and Dao diagrams collided and surged in all directions like a tidal wave, destroying all things in its wake. Large swaths of wondrous rocks were annihilated and ancient trees were pulverized. The entire mountain peak couldn't withstand the terrifying recoil and began to tremble violently. The terrifying might instilled fear in everyone's hearts, as if the end of the world had arrived. After the first strike, the lightning war god's arms flared with lightning as he slashed down with his lightning saber. This strike was even more powerful, and its terrifying power directly shattered the star Dao diagram and the life and death Dao diagram before attacking Xia Wendi, who was sitting cross-legged on the mountain peak. Slaughter doppelganger. At this critical moment, a black figure broke out of Xia Wendi's body like a streak of black light, colliding violently with the lightning saber in midair. Boom! The slaughter doppelganger shattered the lightning saber, and he was also blasted down from the sky by the terrifying power of lightning. He smashed a hole in the mountain peak covered in cracks. At this moment, a dazzling golden three-legged bird appeared on Xia Wendi's body. It flapped its golden wings and let out a long cry at the lightning war god. The three-legged golden crow, she actually had such an ancient spiritual beast. Looking at Xia Wendi's spiritual beast, Qingu Qiu, Kong Sungchen, and the others were moved. They had no doubt that if Xia Wendi could survive the humanoid divine punishment and refine the Nirvana heart to break through to the 6th grade combat beast emperor realm, her strength would rise to a level they could never hope to reach. He might even be able to fight against Nirvana's expert. However, the heavenly punishment in human form was too frightening. Wanting to pass it was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Seeing Xia Wendi fusing with the three-legged golden crow and her strength rising steadily, they couldn't help but sweat for her. When Xia Wendi merged with the three-legged golden raven, the lightning war god slashed out a second time. A terrifying lightning saber light tore through the void, bringing with it terrifying power as it slashed towards Xia Wendi. 9 swords of starlight. Xia Wendi exerted her star Dao insight to the limit and transformed into 9 swords of starlight that carried an ear-piercing sound as they slashed towards the lightning saber. Rumble! A series of uncontrollable explosions rang out in the void. The 9 swords of starlight lasted for only 4 breaths before they were shattered by the lightning saber. The terrifying lightning power carried with it the power to destroy everything as it slashed towards Xia Wendi, wanting to cut her into pieces. At this time, Xia Wendy's star Dao diagram and life and death Dao diagram formed in her palms to resist the saber. Under the amplification of her born Taoism aptitude, the power of the star Dao diagram and life and death Dao diagram increased exponentially, dispersing the remaining power of the lightning saber. However, the lightning war god's attacks were too fierce. After the first saber strike, he slashed out 3 more times in a row, continuously slashing at the star Dao diagram and life and death Dao diagram. He forcefully split the 2 Dao diagrams and sent Xia Wendy, who was under great pressure, into the mountain full of cracks. Star God Bloodline. On the brink of danger, Xia Wendy, who was continuously fusing with the Nirvana heart, finally activated the Star God Bloodline in her body. An ancient phantom with sparkling starlight emerged from her body and collided with the lightning saber. Boom! The ancient phantom collided with the lightning saber. The terrifying bloodline power broke the lightning saber and rushed toward the lightning war god. Starlight Battle Shadow. Did this little girl have the same star god bloodline as Astral Emperor? Kong Sungchen and the others widened their eyes as they watched the ancient phantom fight with the lightning war god. They were very excited, and they didn't waste this rare opportunity. They released their powerful soul power and felt the changes of heavenly punishment in human form, deepening their understanding of the Tao. Perhaps she could really survive the heavenly punishment in human form. As antiques of the Xingluo continent, Kong Sungchen and the others knew how terrifying the star god bloodline was. Xia Wendy had the same bloodline as Astral Emperor and the same talent. If she could survive this terrifying heavenly punishment, she would definitely become the second Astral Emperor. While the Starlight Battle Shadow and the Lightning War God were fighting, Xia Wendy ignored the endurance of her body and madly burned the Nirvana heart, increasing the power of the Star God bloodline while refining it. The ancient phantom and the Lightning War God fought fiercely for half an hour. The terrifying Lightning War God suddenly burst with power and shattered the ancient phantom with one strike. Then, the lightning saber fell from the sky with boundless destructive power, slashing towards Xia Wendy, whose expression changed slightly. Boom! The lightning saber slashed the star Dao diagram that Xia Wendy was using all her strength to support. In an instant, the space around Xia Wendy fell into chaos. It was gray and hazy, making it impossible for people to see the scene of Xia Wendy's tribulation. The terrifying destructive power passed through the Dao diagram and crazily rushed into her body, tearing apart her clothes and body. Large amounts of blood spurted out, instantly dyeing her a bloody person. Her injuries continued to worsen, but it didn't slow down Xia Wendy's attacks. She continued to condense the 2 Dao diagrams and fiercely attacked the Lightning War God. The Starlight Battle Shadow, which had just been shattered by the Lightning War God, reappeared and fiercely fought the Lightning War God. With the Lightning War God close in, Xia Wendy's situation became even more dangerous. Although Xia Wendy tried her best to defend, she was still heavily injured by the Lightning War God. Her entire body became a bloody mess. If it wasn't for her Star God bloodline becoming stronger and stronger, allowing the Starlight Battle Shadow to block most of the Lightning War God's attacks, and allowing the burning Nirvana heart to continuously repair her body, she would have already been killed by the Lightning War God. Just as Xia Wendy's injuries became more and more serious and her attacks became slower, the Lightning War God suddenly erupted with a shocking power. Rolling power fused into the lightning saber in his hand. The saber slashed apart the Starlight Battle Shadow and continued to slash at Xia Wendy. Facing the Lightning War God's fatal saber, Xia Wendy didn't dodge. Seeing her body being shattered by the Lightning War God's saber, the Nirvana heart suddenly appeared in her body and blocked this fatal saber. Boom! The Nirvana heart was shattered by the Lightning War God's full-strength saber. Energy erupted like a volcano, shattering the lightning saber and fiercely slamming into the Lightning War God, sending him flying. Puff Puff. Xia Wendy was also affected by the aftershocks and her body was heavily injured. Seeing her body about to be destroyed, she quickly swallowed the life spirit grass in her mouth. In the next moment, her bloody body began to recover at a visible speed. Her heavy injuries were also quickly healed. She endured the destructive power and fused the cracked Nirvana heart into her body. She once again ignited her star god bloodline and launched a desperate counterattack against the heavily injured lightning war god. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to make it easier for you to read next time, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 970. As expected, while Xia Wendi's tribulation seemed dangerous, it was all part of her plan. Now that the Thunder War God had been injured by the power of the Nirvana heart, she should have a chance to defeat him and pass this humanoid tribulation that was almost impossible for humans to pass. Yi Chunfeng revealed a look of anticipation as he watched Xia Wendi counterattack the Thunder War God. Based on his understanding of Xia Wendi, she would definitely seize this opportunity to defeat the Thunder War God in one fell swoop. If she missed this opportunity, she would be in real danger. Nirvana Heart Merge. Xia Wendi merged the energy from the Nirvana Heart into her cells, breaking through the bottleneck of her cultivation level. Because the Nirvana Heart's energy was too terrifying, even Xia Wendi's born Taoism aptitude couldn't withstand it. Her lithe body kept expanding, showing signs of exploding. Born Taoism aptitude suppressed. Relying on her powerful born Taoism aptitude to suppress the Nirvana Heart's power, Xia Wendi formed the life and death Tao diagram in her right hand and the heaven and earth Tao diagram in her left. She continuously attacked the Thunder War God's body. Under the combination of the born Taoism aptitude and the Nirvana Heart, the two Tao diagrams' destructive power reached the limit. They bombarded the Thunder War God's chest, causing cracks to appear. At this time, the Starlight War God appeared in Xia Wendi's body. He blasted out beams of starlight, attacking the Thunder War God's head, suppressing him and cracking his body bit by bit. A heaven-shaking roar rang out. The Thunder War God, whose body was covered in cracks from the continuous attacks, began to counterattack. He once again condensed a huge blade of lightning, and with the momentum of splitting the sky, he slashed towards Xiaowen Dai, wanting to split her body apart. At this critical moment, the Slaughter Doppelganger appeared, using its own body to block the Thunder War God's fatal attack. Star Tao Diagram, Life and Death Tao Diagram, explode. The moment the Thunder War God sent the Slaughter Doppelganger flying, Xia Wendi detonated the two Tao diagrams. The terrifying power of the will of the Great Path directly blew up one of the Thunder War God's arms, severely injuring his body. The Thunder War God's broken arm immediately turned into a large number of Tao tattoos, wildly pouring into Xia Wendi's body, imprinting themselves on her flesh. Life and Death Tao Diagram, Star Tao Diagram, explode. Next, Xia Wendi formed two Tao diagrams again and attacked the Lightning War God. Normally, Xia Wendi would never have been able to continuously condense two Tao diagrams to attack. But now, the crazily burning Nirvanic heart had replenished the energy she had consumed to condense the Tao diagrams. Under the frenzied attacks of her two Tao diagrams, the Thunder War God's offensive was finally suppressed. Xia Wendi also saw a glimmer of hope in surviving the humanoid heavenly punishment. Something's wrong. Why do I feel like a mysterious energy is gathering in the sky under the cover of the tribulation clouds? Could it be that this humanoid heavenly punishment is not the limit of Xiaowen Dai's heavenly punishment, and there are even more terrifying heavenly punishments waiting for her? With the help of the God-Eater brain, Yi Chunfeng sensed the abnormality in the rolling tribulation clouds that were like a long river. His brows were tightly knitted together, and his heart was in his throat again. And he wasn't mistaken. When Xia Wendi fused with the Nirvanic heart and challenged the Thunder War God, a power that didn't belong to heavenly punishment had appeared in the rolling tribulation clouds. And this power came from the 3 intact celestial race ruins on the Xingluo continent. In one of the celestial race ruins, a blurry figure had appeared. However, under the cover of heavenly punishment, no one except Yi Chunfeng sensed it, including Xia Wendi, who was undergoing her tribulation. 9 Starlight Sword Starlight Palm suppressing the Thunder War God with all her strength, Xia Wendi gathered the nirvanic energy in her body into her fists, deducing the Tao intent to the extreme. She continuously used powerful Tao skills to bombard the Thunder War God, worsening his injuries. Under the all-out attacks of Xia Wendi, the Starlight War God, and the Slaughter Doppelganger, the Thunder War God's left leg shattered, turning into a large amount of Tao patterns that merged into her flesh. After merging with a large amount of Tao intent, Xia Wendi's bottleneck loosened, and she faintly touched upon the realm of a level 6 combat beast emperor. And the nirvanic heart, which had released enough energy, also began to completely merge with her heart under the control of Xia Wendi's will. After losing an arm and a leg, the Thunder War God's attacks were greatly reduced, and he was no longer a threat to Xia Wendi. The Thunder War God's momentum was gone, and that little girl would soon be able to pass through this humanoid tribulation and break through to level 6 combat beast emperor. Although Kong Sungchen and the others looked down on Xia Wendi's tribulation, they could feel the tribulation cloud's power begin to fade, and their nervous mood also relaxed. However, they didn't notice that Yi Chunfeng's brows were furrowed even tighter, as if he had a premonition. Star God strike blocking the Thunder War God's attack, Xia Wendi forcibly used her bloodline ability, controlling the Starlight War God to launch a fatal attack. Wang the chaotic void trembled, and the Starlight War God turned into a beam of light, forcefully breaking through the lightning armor and piercing through the Thunder War God's body. In the next moment, the heavily injured Thunder War God exploded, turning into a sky full of Tao patterns. Like rivers flowing into the sea, they merged into Xia Wendi's body. Under the large amount of Tao patterns, Xia Wendi's body continuously transformed, and the nirvanic heart also perfectly merged with her heart. Level 6 Combat Beast Emperor Breakthrough. When the time was right, Xia Wendi gathered all the soul power and Tao intent in her body and broke through the bottleneck, breaking through to Level 6 Combat Beast Emperor. However, the instant Xia Wendi broke through, Yi Chunfeng's expression changed. Following that, Qiangu Qiu, Kong Sungchen, and the others' expressions also changed. This was because they saw a milky white hand descend from the tribulation cloud, carrying with it the power to destroy everything. It attacked Xia Wendi, who had just broken through, wanting to destroy her. How could this be? Xia Wendi had already passed through the heavenly tribulation, so why would this white hand appear? Xia Wendi was in danger. Seeing the sudden descent of the white hand, Qiangu Qiu and the others' hearts rose to their throats. Star Tao Diagram, Life and Death Tao Diagram. Xia Wendi, who had just broken through and repaired her body, was also stunned by this sudden scene. She quickly condensed 2 Tao diagrams to defend herself. However, this white hand was too terrifying. It easily destroyed the 2 Tao diagrams and attacked Xia Wendi, whose expression changed greatly. Seeing that Xia Wendi was about to be hit by the giant hand of destruction, Yi Chunfeng, who had long since sensed the abnormality, flew towards Xia Wendi like a shooting star. Before the giant hand could land, he caught her in his arms. In the next moment, with a thought, Yi Chunfeng entered the universe realm with Xia Wendi in his arms. Boom! The instant the two entered the universe realm, the space where Xia Wendi was just a moment ago collapsed. The terrifying destructive hand directly smashed the space apart. The destructive hand's attack was extremely terrifying. Not to mention Xia Wendi, even a Nirvana Heavenly Realm expert would not be able to block it. However, Universe Realm experts were too heaven-defying. They were not affected by the destructive hand's attack at all. However, under the destructive hand's attack, the space around them continued to collapse, as if the end of the world had arrived. Mobile reading site, book address, To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button below to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open your bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 971. Ah, Yi Chunfeng, you grabbed my breasts again, get lost. Xia Wendy, who was still in shock, suddenly felt a numbing sensation coming from her chest. Her eyes immediately widened. When she lowered her head to look, she discovered that her right breast was tightly grabbed by Yi Chunfeng. Her cheeks immediately flushed red, and she sent Yi Chunfeng flying with a palm. Watermark advertisement test Xia Wendy, how could you treat your savior like this? If I had not risked my life to save you, you would have already died. Yi Chunfeng clutched his aching chest and said loudly, Yi Chunfeng, let me ask you, did you touch my breasts on purpose? Xia Wendy flew into a rage out of humiliation. If not for the fact that they were in the universe realm and Xia Wendy did not dare to act rashly, she would have already taught Yi Chunfeng a lesson. Xia Wendy, don't slander me, I really did not do it on purpose. Furthermore, my hand touched your breasts. Didn't your breasts also touch my hand? Why are you so agitated? Yi Chunfeng rubbed his nose and said, You. Xia Wendy was so angry that her whole body trembled. The flames in her eyes seemed to want to melt him. All right, Xia Wendy, don't look at me like that. Let's analyze who was the one that wanted to kill you at the last moment. In the universe realm, Yi Chunfeng was not afraid that Xia Wendy would do anything to him, and suggested softly, Needless to say, the hand that attacked me at the last moment was definitely related to the heaven race. They would definitely not let me fuse with my ancestors' nirvana heart and break through to level 6 Beast Emperor. Xia Wendy did not dare to make a move in the universe realm, so she could only endure the anger in her heart and said while grinding her teeth, Heaven race, could it be that there were still heaven race experts in Xingluo continent? After confirming his suspicions, Yi Chunfeng increasingly felt that the Star Luo continent still hid many secrets and dangers that no one knew about. He did not know, but Xingluo Heaven City was the foundation of the heaven race. If Xingluo Heaven City was attacked, it might unlock many secrets of Xingluo continent. Xia Wendy shook her head and said, Amen, I plan to first go to the Dark Azura Temple and subdue them. Then, I'll head to the True Demon Tribe and destroy that place. Then, I'll gather the forces of all sides and attack Xingluo Heavenly City together. I'll seize control of Xingluo Heavenly City. Yi Chunfeng nodded and said, Yi Chunfeng, you can't be thinking of becoming the city lord of Xingluo Sky City, right? Xia Wendy asked with wide eyes. Do you think that I am not qualified to be the city lord of Xingluo Heavenly City? Yi Chunfeng asked with a faint smile. Xia Wendy shook her head and said, I am worried about the girls in Heaven City. Running into a lecherous Qingzhu, their fate will be so miserable. Yi Chunfeng. Just as Kong Sungchen and the others were worried about Yi Chunfeng's safety, the two of them left the Qiankuan realm and appeared in the slowly recovering void. Phew, great, they are fine. Looking at Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendy, Kong Sungchen and the others breathed a sigh of relief. But as smart people, they did not ask about Yi Chunfeng's secret. Let's go, let's get out of here first. After speaking, Yi Chunfeng and the others left the chaotic cloud peak, which was shaved off by Tianfa. Fresh Breeze Town was a small town situated beside a green mountain. Its people were simple and honest, and it was very quiet. After leaving the chaotic cloud peak, Yi Chunfeng and the others came here to rest. After recuperating for 3 days, Xia Wendy consolidated her level 6 combat Beast Emperor realm and fully comprehended the Tao intent in her body. After comprehending the Tao intent in the human form of Tianfa, Xia Wendy cultivated the life and death Tao pattern and the star Tao pattern to 120, which greatly increased the power of the two Tao patterns. If Xia Wendy could cultivate the two Tao patterns to 200, then her Tao pattern would transform into a spirit-grade Tao pattern, and its power would increase by leaps and bounds. However, it was almost impossible to cultivate a spirit-grade Tao pattern in a low-grade realm. If it wasn't for Xia Wendy's Tian Fa being too heaven-defying, her comprehension of the two Tao patterns would have remained at 100. Xia Wendy's comprehension of the star Tao pattern and the life and death Tao pattern had increased by a level. Her comprehension of the heavenly Tao had also increased greatly, and she had cultivated 40 heavenly Tao patterns. We are really old. Compared to you, my 10,000 years of life were wasted. Jiang Xingchen sighed with emotion as he looked at Xia Piedai. Xia Piety's temperament was completely natural, and her every movement could cause great changes in the world. She had become even more beautiful. Although he had also broken through to the level 6 combat beast emperor realm, he felt that no matter if it was strength or comprehension of Tao intent, he was far inferior to this junior. Thanks to all of you seniors protecting me, I was able to successfully pass through the Tian Fa and break through to the level 6 combat beast emperor realm. Xia Wendy smiled sweetly and said gratefully, "Wendy, you should be thanking Qingfeng. It was him who risked his life to save you." Kong Sungchen looked at Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendy, who were like dragons and phoenixes among men, and wanted to matchmake them. "Yi Chunfeng, thank you. Thank you for saving me." Xia Wendy revealed her cute little dimples and said sweetly, "In order to thank you, I am willing to share my gains from the Tian Fa with you. What do you want to do?" Yi Chunfeng looked at Xia Wendy, whose eyes were curved into crescents, and asked cautiously, as if he didn't recognize her anymore. "Yi Chunfeng, am I that scary?" Xia Wendy smiled more beautiful than flowers and said, "But in order to let you have a deeper understanding of my gains from the Tian Fa, I am prepared to teach you everything during the competition." "No way." Seeing the slyness in Xia Wendy's eyes, Yi Chunfeng knew what she wanted to do, so he rejected her without hesitation. Xia Wendy's current strength was far beyond Yi Chunfeng's. Competing with her was no different than asking for a beating. "Yi Chunfeng, if you refuse my good intentions, I will be very sad." Xia Wendy said pitifully, "Are you afraid that I still don't believe in my sincerity? I just want to share my gains from the Tian Fa in the competition to thank you for your kindness. Is that not okay?" "No," Yi Chunfeng said with absolute certainty. "A man can't say no." Xia Wendy smiled like a flower and said, "Yi Chunfeng, are you a man or not?" "Yi Chunfeng, if you really want to compete, then come to my Qiankuan realm." Yi Chunfeng looked at Xia Wendy, who was harboring evil intentions, and said lightly, "Humph, coward." Seeing that Yi Chunfeng didn't take the bait, Xia Wendy didn't force him, but a victorious smile appeared on her face. "Qingfeng, what are you going to do next?" Kong Sungchen gently shook his head and asked. "We have already been exposed. In order to avoid their revenge, I am going to attack them immediately. First, I will go to the Sun Luo Temple and subdue them. Then, I will learn the location of the True Demon Clan from them and eradicate the True Demon Clan. Then, I will gather all of my power to seize control of Xingluo Sky City and destroy the Sky Clan's inheritance." Yi Chunfeng said, "Okay, since you already have a plan, then we will fully cooperate with you." Kong Sungchen and the other two said, "It is time to return the Xingluo continent to a new world. Then there is no time to lose. Let's go to the Sun Luo Temple now." After speaking, Yi Chunfeng and the others left Fresh Breeze Town and went to the Sun Luo Temple. The real final battle had begun. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to make it easier for you to read next time, you can click the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 972. Xingzi Lake was a vast inland lake in the Xingluo continent. It had picturesque scenery, and was known as one of the 7 secluded 8 sceneries of the Xingluo continent. Watermark advertisement test. Watermark advertisement test. Xingzi Lake scenery was extremely beautiful, but very few people could appreciate its beauty. This was because Xingzi Lake was a forbidden area in the Xingluo continent. One of the superpowers of the Xingluo continent, Sun Luo Temple, was located on the island in the middle of Xingzi Lake. At this moment, there were faintly discernible runes floating in Xingzi Lake. After failing to kill Yi Qinfeng and the others outside the Xingluo Imperial Tomb, Sun Luo Temple's defense had reached the highest level. Master, do you think they will take revenge on us? Sun Luo Temple's master, Sin Ming, was wearing a black silk dress. She was taller than an average man. Although her appearance was average, she had a hot body. Very few people had seen Sun Luo Temple's true appearance, and even fewer people knew that the terrifying Sun Luo Temple's master was a woman. Yes, they will definitely take revenge on us, and they will take action against us first. Although Sun Luo Temple's mainstay, Sun Tu, did not participate in the attack outside the Xingluo Imperial Tomb, he, who had lived for almost 10,000 years, could clearly see through many things. Master, do you think if Sun Luo Temple were to take revenge on us, Xingluo Sky City and the True Demon Clan would come and help us? Sin Ming lost his usual composure and said helplessly. Sigh, the Xingluo continent is going to change. I'm afraid we are on the wrong side. Sin Tu said with a deep gaze, making it impossible for others to guess his true thoughts. After a period of seclusion, he had used the benefits he obtained from the True Demon Clan to break through to the level 6 Combat Beast Emperor realm, standing at the peak of the Xingluo continent. Master, why don't we give up on Xingzi Lake and our 100,000 years of foundation, leave the Xingluo continent and find a safe place to recuperate, and wait for an opportunity to rise again? Sun Ming pondered for a while and said unwillingly. All right, go and prepare now. We will leave this place. Sin Tu said without joy or sadness. Buzz buzz. Just as Sun Ming was about to give the order to evacuate Xingzihu, the forbidden space array that enveloped the entire lake trembled. The sound of a large number of array runes tearing apart rang out in the void. Listening to the strange sound from the void, Sun Tu frowned. He slowly stood up and said, It seems that we can't leave. They are here. Come on, let's go out and meet them. As he spoke, Sun Tu, who had a calm expression and a trace of viciousness in his eyes, brought Sin Ming to the outside of Sun Luo Hall. He saw Yi Qinfeng and the others attacking the island's protective array. 10 years east of the river, 10 years west of the river, I never thought that my Sun Luo Temple would end up in such a predicament. Looking at Kong Sungchen, Bai Feng, and the others, Sin Tu couldn't help but recall the time when he was in high spirits. He, Jasper Palace, and House Xiaohou oppressed the Bai family, but all of this was ruined by one person. That person was none other than Yi Qinfeng. Sin Tu, your momentum is gone. Obediently open the island's protective array and surrender. Otherwise, don't blame I for starting a massacre. Kong Sungchen put his hands behind his back. Through the island's protective array, he looked at his old rival, Sun Tu, who was wearing a black robe, and said with an imposing manner, As an old rival, I think you should understand me, and I also understand you. If I surrender, you will either place a mark on my soul and turn me into your puppet, or be suppressed by you for 1,000 years until I die of old age. But I don't want either of these endings. So, don't waste your breath. I will not surrender. Sin Tu put his hands behind his back and said calmly, Sin Tu, I can understand that you are not afraid of death, but are you willing to watch others die because of you? Yizhua Pia Piao, the charming Xing Bus said. I can't even protect myself, how can I protect them? Sin Tu said coldly. Hearing Sin Tu's words, Sin Ming and the others' expressions slightly changed. Sin Tu had disregarded life and death, but they didn't want to die. However, they knew Sin Tu's methods. Whoever dared to betray him at this critical moment would not be able to escape from his vicious hands. Master, are you really going to fight to the death with them? Sin Ming bit his lips and asked. Is there a second choice? Sin Tu said calmly. His calm appearance made people tremble in fear. But, Sin Ming, I raised you. In order to push you to the position of Sun Luo Temple Master, I have killed many people. Now, it is time for you to repay me. Sin Tu suddenly revealed his pure white teeth and said. Seeing Sin Tu suddenly smile, Sin Ming felt deeply uneasy. He instinctively wanted to retreat and distance himself from him. However, Sin Tu had broken through to the rank 6 combat beast emperor realm. His strength had reached an extremely terrifying level. The hand he stretched out was like a big hand bearing its fangs, directly grabbing Sin Ming's neck. This sudden scene shocked all the experts of Sun Luo Temple. It also made Yi Chunfeng and the others reveal shocked expressions. Master, I didn't betray you. Don't kill me. Being lifted into the air by Sin Tu's neck, Sin Ming immediately wanted to resist. However, when he tried to resist, a powerful force bound him, forcing him to beg for mercy. Of course, I know you didn't betray me. However, at this moment of life and death, shouldn't you do something for your master to repay the kindness he has shown you? Sin Tu revealed a cruel smile. His left hand, filled with the aura of death, fiercely smashed Sin Ming's head. Then, Sin Tu opened his mouth and spat out a blood-red hexagonal blood diagram inlaid with 6 strange stones. It crazily devoured Sin Ming's blood and qi. In the blink of an eye, the rank 4 combat beast Emperor Sin Ming's blood and qi were sucked dry by the hexagonal blood diagram, turning him into a dried corpse. After devouring all the blood and qi in Sin Ming's body, the blood and qi in the hexagonal blood diagram boiled. A blood-red ghost face appeared in the diagram, letting out a bone-chilling wail that made people shudder. Blood demon diagram, how did this treasure end up in your hands? Looking at the hexagonal blood diagram with the blood-red ghost face, Kong Sungchen and the other two's expressions became extremely ugly. The blood demon diagram was a notorious treasure that had been passed down for more than 200,000 years. It was in the hands of a murderous demon who called himself the Blood Demon. He caused a bloody storm in the Xingluo continent. Tens of thousands of people died because of him, and many families were directly destroyed. In the end, his violent actions angered the Xingluo Sky City. At that time, the city lord of the Xingluo Sky City joined forces with the leaders of many families to kill him. However, he still escaped with the help of the Blood Demon diagram. Since then, the Blood Demon diagram and the Blood Demon disappeared from the Duhan continent. However, no one expected that this evil treasure would be obtained by Sin Tuesday. Surprisingly, he used Sin Ming's blood and life to awaken the Blood Demon diagram. Sin Tu revealed a ferocious smile and said slowly, "Why can't the Blood Demon diagram be in my hands? It seems that the Sun Luo Temple is closely related to the Blood Demon." Kong Sungchen said in a low voice, "Since the Blood Demon diagram has been exposed, you will all die today. However, before I kill you, I ask you to watch a show." As he spoke, Sun Tu, who was controlling the Blood Demon diagram, suddenly turned around and attacked the shocked Sun Luo Temple masters. A bloody massacre began. Yun Lei's official WeChat account already has 4,700 people. For every 1,000 people, Yun Lei will add a chapter. Everyone, come to the official account address, YLTY83. Some of the female leads' photos have been posted. Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 973. We need to quickly break the formation and stop the Blood Demon diagram from devouring blood. Otherwise, with the help of the Blood Demon diagram, Sin Tu's strength might reach the Nirvana realm. Seeing Sin Tu crazily slaughtering the Sun Luo Temple experts, Kong Sungchen and the others' faces changed. They immediately increased their attack power, wanting to forcefully break the island's protective formation and break in. Space Swallower, seal breaking the Sun Luo Temple's protective formation was extremely powerful. Yi Chunfeng and the others could not break it in a short time. In order to save time, Yi Chunfeng quickly summoned the space swallower and ordered it to devour the seal. After continuously devouring the blood of heavenly beasts, the space swallower's ability to break seals greatly increased. Soon, it bit a big hole in the violently trembling seal. Yi Chunfeng and the others quickly rushed in. At this time, Sun Tu, who was crazily slaughtering like a god of death, had killed more than 30 Sun Luo temple experts. He controlled the blood demon diagram and sucked all the blood from their bodies, completely activating the blood demon diagram. After devouring a large amount of blood, the demon faces in the blood demon diagram became even clearer. They looked at Yi Chunfeng and the others with hatred. Kong Sungchen, Bai Feng, don't look at me like that. Although you have the advantage in numbers, I have the blood demon diagram. You can't kill me. Sun Tu showed a fearless smile and looked at Yi Chunfeng and the others. Sun Tu, your actions today are worse than an animal. You will be punished by the heavens. Xingbue looked at the crazy Sun Tu with sharp eyes and said coldly. Haha, Sun Tu looked up to the sky and laughed. I am the heavens. Who will punish me? Suddenly, an ear-piercing sound broke through the air. Sun Tu, who was controlling the blood demon diagram, only saw a blur in front of him. Xia Wendy, who was as beautiful as a fairy, suddenly appeared in front of him. Smelling danger, Sun Tu instinctively retreated. However, Xia Wendy's attack speed was even faster. In an instant, she attacked him with 3 palms and 2 kicks. When Shintu relied on his powerful strength to defend against Xia Wendy's surprise attack, he was still unable to block her final palm strike. The powerful palm strike carried a fierce gale as it ruthlessly struck Shintu's face, leaving behind a bright red palm print on his old face as he was sent flying. Your great aunt is beating the heavens. Old dog, die. As she spoke, the furious Xia Wendy took advantage of the opportunity to pursue and attack. She launched a tidal wave of attacks towards Gloom Butcher, wanting to kill this murderous demon. After being attacked by Xia Wendy, Sun Tu immediately wanted to retaliate and kill her to vent his anger. However, at this moment, the Black God Ant appeared behind Xia Wendy, bringing a great threat to Sun Tu. Sensing the terror of the Black God Ant, Gloom Butcher decisively gave up on the idea of using the blood demon diagram to kill Xia Wendy. He quickly fled towards the chaotic dark Azura Hall. Sun Tu was a madman. If he was allowed to escape, he would definitely bring a devastating disaster to the entire Xingluo continent. Yi Chunfeng and the others quickly chased after him, not giving him a chance to escape. When Yi Chunfeng, Xia Wendy, and the others chased after Sun Tu to the forbidden grounds of the Dark Azura Hall, they suddenly discovered that the scene in front of them had changed. An extremely mysterious illusion had trapped them. As expected, Sun Tu was already prepared. Looking at the illusory scene in front of him, and feeling waves of illusion power crazily surge into his mind, Yi Chunfeng immediately raised his illusion Dao intent to the limit to break the illusion in front of him. Straight line sword slash after the illusion Dao intent dispersed and the God-Eater brain deduced, Yi Chunfeng locked onto a spatial node in front of him. The power of his sword soul erupted as he stabbed with the Emperor Heaven's sword. Chi. After being attacked by the horizontal slash of the fused sword soul, the spatial node that the God-Eater brain deduced shattered like glass. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng, who did not slow down, was the first to rush out. He saw Sun Tu, who still had a red palm print on his face, floating above a boiling blood pool. He was controlling the blood demon diagram to devour the power of the blood pool. Yi Chunfeng, I really want to know who you are to be able to change the situation of the Xingluo continent. Sun Tu did not break out of the encirclement. He looked at Yi Chunfeng with hatred and said coldly. Without Yi Chunfeng, he would not be in such a predicament today. Therefore, when he saw Yi Chunfeng break out of the illusion, he decided to take the opportunity to kill Yi Chunfeng. You are a person who is about to die, so you don't need to know who I am. Yi Chunfeng looked at Sun Tu with a sharp gaze and said with killing intent. 18 Qianquan swords appeared around his body and circled above his head. They formed the Qianquan sword formation and cut through the air. Yi Chunfeng had gained a lot in the Xingluo Royal Mausoleum. He obtained a large number of low-grade Dao swords left behind by the Star Emperor. He also obtained a mid-grade Dao artifact, the Starlight Dao Sword, from Xia Wendi, which greatly improved the Qianquan sword formation. Now, the 18 Qianquan swords that formed the Qianquan sword formation were made up of 2 mid-grade Dao swords and 16 low-grade Dao sword. Their attacking power had increased by more than 10 times. Ha ha ha, Yi Chunfeng, I admit that you are the most talented young man I have ever seen. If not for the blood demon diagram, I would not have become your enemy. Sin Tu laughed and said, Unfortunately, I have already repaired the blood demon diagram. Now that the blood demon diagram has merged with enough blood, it is enough to kill you. As he spoke, Sin Tu did not waste any more time. He summoned the blood demon diagram and merged with the power of the boiling blood pool to attack Yi Chunfeng. Shriek, 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 horrifying cries of ghosts sounded from the blood demon diagram. The demonic face in the blood demon diagram became clearer and clearer. It spat out a gust of bloody wind, which tore through the air and swept towards Yi Chunfeng. Qianquan sword formation, break. The bloody wind rushed towards him. Yi Chunfeng immediately controlled the Qianquan sword formation to meet it. Like a rain of swords, it pierced into the bloody wind, breaking the demonic face's attack in one fell swoop. Such great power! After the Qianquan sword formation was upgraded, its power increased greatly. But when it pierced into the bloody wind, it was still met with great resistance. If the Qianquan sword formation's attacking power was not strong enough, it would not have been able to tear the bloody wind apart. I haven't seen you for more than a year, and you have become even stronger. You are really impressive. But no matter how strong you are, you can't change your fate. I will use the blood demon diagram to suck all the blood from your body. Your blood will follow me and bear witness to my supreme achievement. As he spoke, Sin Tu controlled the blood demon diagram and merged it into his body. Borrowing the power of the blood demon diagram, he directly broke through the limit of a level 6 combat beast emperor and possessed the strength of Nirvana. What? You think you are invincible just because you have Nirvana's strength? I will let you know that you are just a frog at the bottom of a well. Feeling the sudden increase in Sin Tu's strength, Yi Chunfeng was not afraid at all. As long as Xia Wendi escaped, he could use the Black God Ant's invincible strength to control the situation and kill Sin Tuesday. He only needed to stall for time. Is that so? Sin Tu's eyes turned blood-red. His strong body flashed in the air and charged towards Yi Chunfeng with boundless bloody light. The sword soul controlled the Qianquan sword formation. As Sin Tu attacked, Yi Chunfeng immediately controlled the sword soul to merge into the Qianquan sword formation and let it control the sword formation to attack Sin Tuesday. Then, he pushed the Tao of life and death to the limit and blasted out the Tao of life and death. He condensed the Tao of life and death and blasted it towards Sin Tu's head. Yama's heavenly wheel. Sin Tu quickly circulated the Yama tactics and condensed a large amount of Yama's heavenly wheel from his body. It clashed fiercely with the Qianquan sword formation and the Tao of life and death. Because of the amplification of the blood demon diagram, the Yama's heavenly wheel condensed by Sin Tu was extremely powerful. After a series of intense collisions, not only did it dissolve the Tao of life and death, it also blocked the attack of the Qianquan sword formation. 9 Netherwolf. When Sin Tu borrowed the power of the blood demon diagram to forcefully close in on Yi Chunfeng, the 9 Netherwolf, a heavenly beast consecrated by the Sun Luo Temple, suddenly appeared and attacked Yi Chunfeng together with Sin Tuesday. They wanted to kill him as soon as possible and take everything from him. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 974. Sword Step. Yi Chunfeng did not panic when he was suddenly besieged. He took a step forward, and a sword diagram appeared. Dense sword Dao patterns attacked Gloom Butcher and the 9 Netherwolf who were close to him. Watermark advertisement test. Watermark advertisement testes for himself. He dodged to the side when the sword Dao patterns attacked, dodging the killer moves of the man and beast. His reaction was not slow, but it was still useless. Gloom Butcher locked his eyes on Yi Chunfeng. He borrowed the power of the Blood Demon diagram and attacked together with the 9 Netherwolf. Are you the only one with helpers? Qingu Qiu, Ling Shuihe, quickly come out and help. With a thought, Yi Chunfeng summoned Qingu Qiu and the other 2. He let the spirit fish deal with the 9 Netherwolf while he, Qingu Qiu, and the King of Massacre attacked Gloom Butcher. Spatial treasure, I did not expect you to have such a treasure. It seems like I will gain a lot from killing you. Gloom Butcher revealed a greedy look. He borrowed the power of the Blood Demon diagram to block Yi Chunfeng and the other 2's attack. Many people wanted to kill me, but unfortunately, they were all sent to hell by me. You will not be an exception. With that, Yi Chunfeng shook his wrist, and the Emperor Heaven's sword pierced out with lightning speed. It attacked Gloom Butcher together with the Cosmos sword formation derived by the sword soul. Qingu Qiu and the King of Massacre also used their killer moves to attack Gloom Butcher. They wanted to injure him severely. Just as Gloom Butcher was about to be hit by Yi Chunfeng and the other 2's killer moves, the Blood Demon diagram appeared on his body and blocked the attack. In the next moment, the Blood Demon diagram released a large amount of blood-red light, which filled the entire space. It carried the power to destroy all living things and blasted towards Yi Chunfeng. PFFF. PFFF. In just one attack, the instant mirror light was shattered. The King of Massacre was severely injured and was sent flying hundreds of meters away, losing his ability to fight. Although Yi Chunfeng and Qingu Qiu blocked the attack of the Blood Demon diagram, they were both injured. Green Heaven's secret art. Heavenly Dao Play. Qingu Qiu took a deep breath and suppressed his injuries. He gathered the power of the heavens to form a Heavenly Dao disc and shot it towards Sin Tuesday. Meanwhile, after Yi Chunfeng teleported the heavily injured King of Massacre back to the universe realm, he controlled the 3 fused Dao intents and fused them into the universe sword formation. He increased the universe sword formation's power to the greatest extent and controlled the universe sword formation to attack Sin Tuesday. It's no use. Your attacks are useless against me. Having Nirvana's strength for a short period of time, Gloom Butcher had become too terrifying. He borrowed the power of the Blood Demon diagram to face the attack head-on, directly shattering the Heavenly Dao disc and clashing with the Cosmos sword formation. If not for the fact that the universe sword formation had been greatly upgraded and that Yi Chunfeng's soul had been tempered and strengthened beyond compare, he would have long been defeated by the terrifying Forest Butcher. Bloodline of gods and devil's blood of heaven. After witnessing how terrifying Gloom Butcher was, Yi Chunfeng and Yi Qingyu did not hesitate to burn their powerful bloodline power, greatly increasing their strength to face Gloom Butcher head-on. However, the power of the Blood Demon diagram was beyond imagination. With the help of this demonic treasure, Sin Tu was able to completely suppress Yi Chunfeng and Qingu Qiu, forcing them to retreat. Howl! Suddenly, a mournful wolf howl rang out. The spirit fish in her ape god form smashed the 9 Netherwolf's head, ending its life. Spirit fish, don't come over. Gloom Butcher's strength was too terrifying. Yi Chunfeng was afraid that an accident would happen, so he immediately shouted at her. While Yi Chunfeng was distracted, Gloom Butcher unleashed the Blood Demon diagram. It was like a blood-red demonic mountain, crashing into the void. Under the full power of the Blood Demon diagram, a large area of the void began to distort. Cosmos sword formation, combine. At the critical moment, Yi Chunfeng tapped the ground with the tip of his foot. As he retreated, He controlled the 18 cosmos swords to fuse together, forming a giant sword. With the power to destroy everything, he slashed forward. Under the attack of the cosmos sword, even the sky began to crack. Boom! The two powerful attacks collided, exploding with earth-shattering power. The chaotic, distorted space was riddled with holes. Ka-ka-ka. After 3 breaths, the giant sword formed by the 18 cosmos swords was blasted away by the blood demon diagram. A terrifying blood-red light beam shot towards Yi Chunfeng, forcing him to dodge with all his might. Blue Sky Seal Yi Chunfeng was no match for Gloom Butcher. Qiangu Qiu, in his white robe, soared into the sky. He controlled the powerful power of the heavens to form a blue sky seal that was filled with innate Tao patterns. It crashed down like the sky, smashing towards Gloom Butcher. When the blue sky seal crashed down, Gloom Butcher quickly threw out a punch. The terrifying Tao intent quickly evolved into a demonic face. It crashed into the blue sky seal, shattering the blue sky seal. Heavenly Venerate Bloodline, combine! Gloom Butcher's strength was too strong. In order to resist him, Yi Chunfeng burned his Heavenly Venerate Bloodline. He forcefully combined the two bloodlines to increase his strength to the greatest extent. Blue Sky Secret Art. After the Godfiend Bloodline and Heavenly Venerate Bloodline merged, Yi Chunfeng's strength soared by several levels. He quickly circulated the Blue Sky Secret Art and formed 2 blue sky seals in succession, bombarding Gloom Butcher. I didn't expect you to have so many tricks up your sleeve. Gloom Butcher revealed a trace of surprise when he sensed that Yi Chunfeng's strength had greatly increased. However, this only strengthened his resolve to kill Yi Chunfeng. He would not be able to eat or sleep in peace if Yi Chunfeng was not eliminated. Demonic Blood Diagram. 10,000 demonic blood shadows. Gloom Butcher forcefully resisted the 2 blue sky seals. Using his own blood as a medium, he ignited the power of the demonic blood diagram. A large amount of blood-red light spread out from the demonic blood diagram, transforming into a large number of demonic shadows that roared and attacked Yi Chunfeng and Qiangu Qiu. Puff, puff. In just 10 breaths, Qiangu Qiu, who was attacking with all his might, was severely injured by the 10,000 demonic blood shadows. He was teleported into Yi Chunfeng's universe mirror in time. Although Yi Chunfeng relied on his powerful physical body to resist the 10,000 demonic blood shadows, he was also in a precarious situation. His physical body, which was almost at the level of a high-grade Tao artifact, exploded and a large amount of blood flowed out. Universe Sword Array, Body Protection. The situation was critical. Yi Chunfeng immediately controlled the Universe Sword Array to revolve around his body, deducing the Sword Tao intent to the extreme to resist the 10,000 demonic blood shadows attack. However, the demonic blood diagram had fused with enough blood and qi. Its power was extremely terrifying. It brought great pressure to Yi Chunfeng, causing the Universe Sword Array, which had been transformed into a sword vortex, to tremble violently. Nirvana was indeed terrifying. With Yi Chunfeng's current strength and methods, he could fight against a level 6 combat beast emperor. However, he was completely suppressed by Gloom Butcher, who had Nirvana's strength. He was in a perilous situation. If his physical body was not strong enough, he had cultivated a sword soul, he had 3 bloodlines, and the Universe Sword Array, he would have been killed by Gloom Butcher long ago. 9 Dragon Jade Annulus. As the pressure increased, Yi Chunfeng did not resign himself to death. With a thought, he summoned the 9 Dragon Jade Annulus and ignited his dragon bloodline, increasing his soul power by 7 times. He continuously poured his soul power into the 9 Dragon Jade Annulus, controlling the 9 Dragon Jade Annulus to condense a world-destroying berserk dragon, which bombarded Gloom Butcher, who was covered in bloody light. Under the attack of the world-destroying berserk dragon, a large number of 10,000 demonic blood shadows were shattered. The terrifying berserk dragon let out a dragon roar that made people shudder as it fiercely bombarded Gloom Butcher. Not good. Feeling the destructive power of the world-destroying berserk dragon, Gloom Butcher's expression changed greatly. He quickly dodged without thinking. While he was dodging, Yi Chenfeng, whose soul power was almost depleted, rushed out with the universe sword array. Suddenly, the sound of space cracking could be heard. While Yi Chenfeng was extremely weak, Xiao Wendai and the Black God Ant broke through the illusion and rushed out. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 975. Yi Chenfeng, are you alright? Xiao Wendy could feel that Yi Chenfeng was very weak. She quickly came to his side and asked with concern. Watermark advertisement test. I'm fine. Don't let him escape. Yi Chenfeng drank a mouthful of returning heaven water to recover his depleted soul power. He shook his head and replied. Don't worry. He won't be able to escape. Xiao Wendy's eyes were filled with extreme confidence as she looked at Sin Tu with cold eyes. Then I'll leave him to you. Yi Chenfeng knew Xiao Wendy's strength and knew how terrifying the Black God Ant was. He quickly distanced himself from the battle and sat cross-legged on the ground to recover his depleted soul power. Saint Beast. So it was a Saint Beast. Sensing the terrifying demonic energy from the Black God Ant, Sin Tu finally knew why it was so terrifying. He revealed a trace of seriousness. He never expected that the opponent would have the help of a Saint Beast. He regretted that he didn't want to fight and take the risk to kill Yi Chenfeng. Whoosh! There was a flash of blood light under Sin Tu's feet. He gave up on the idea of killing Yi Chenfeng and wanted to break out. Wasn't it too late to leave now? Xiao Wendy's reaction was even faster. She flashed in front of Sin Tu and blocked him. Courting death. When Sin Tu saw that Xiao Wendy dared to block him, his eyes were filled with dense killing intent. He quickly circulated the Yama art and condensed a large amount of Yama heavenly wheels to attack, wanting to cut her body. Over 10 Yama heavenly wheels attacked, but Xiao Wendy didn't dodge. She quickly blasted out a fist. A large amount of star Dao patterns surged out from her body and turned into a terrifying star Dao diagram. It directly shattered the 10 Yama heavenly wheels and blasted towards Sin Tu without any reduction in power. Blood Demon Diagram, Demon Shadow Appearance. When the Star Dao diagram arrived, Sin Tu immediately controlled the Blood Demon Diagram to counterattack. He condensed a malevolent demon face with boundless demonic aura and clashed with the Star Dao diagram. Rumble! The two powerful forces clashed together. There was an intense clash and an ear-piercing explosion. In the intense clash, the Star Dao diagram and the demon face quickly shattered. Life and Death Dao diagram. Seeing the Star Dao diagram shattering, Xiao Wendy struck out another palm strike. Life and Death Dao patterns gushed out from her fist like a tidal wave. They converged into a Life and Death Dao diagram and blasted towards Sin Tu, whose expression changed drastically. It forced him to dodge miserably. The Dao diagram of the stars, the Dao diagram of life and death. Who are you? Yi Chenfeng was already monstrous enough, but Shentu didn't expect Xiao Wendy to be even more monstrous than Yi Chenfeng. Not only did she cultivate to the 6th grade combat beast emperor realm at such a young age, but she also cultivated her Star Dao intent and Life and Death Dao intent to perfection and condensed 2 Dao diagrams. Why do you care who I am? After condensing 2 great Dao diagrams and forcing Gloom Butcher to retreat, Xiao Wendy continued to pursue and attack. She continuously used powerful Dao techniques to attack. Just as Sin Tu forcefully tore apart Xiao Wendai's attack, the Black God Ant, which was as tall and sturdy as a black tower, appeared behind Sin Tu and blasted out a killing punch. Not good, sensing danger behind him, Sin Tu immediately controlled the Blood Demon diagram to defend himself. When the black god ant's punch landed on the blood demon diagram, it immediately exploded with over 100 million pounds of strength. The rolling demonic energy was like a tidal wave that broke through a dam. It crazily attacked the blood demon diagram, which brought great pressure to Sin Tuesday. It shook the blood in his body violently. After the first punch, the black god ant blasted out a second and third punch. The terrifying fist might was as boundless as the ocean. It was boundless and boundless. It smashed Sin Tu and forced him to retreat step by step. Mouthful after mouthful of blood spurted out from his mouth. Blood demon diagram, 10,000 demonic blood shadows unable to block the black god ant's attack. Sin Tu continuously spat out blood into the blood demon diagram. He continued to use his blood as a medium to activate the blood demon diagram's strongest power. It turned into a large amount of 10,000 demonic blood shadows, which roared and attacked Xia Wendy and the black god ant. Once Xia Wendy and the black god ant were surrounded by the 10,000 demonic blood shadows, he would have the opportunity to break out and leave this place. Earthquake technique. A large amount of 10,000 demonic blood shadows roared over. The black god ant's rolling demonic power and physical power merged together, forming an extremely fast frequency earthquake technique in the void. With his body as the center, the earthquake technique radiated out in all directions, engaging in an intense battle with the 10,000 demonic blood shadows. Following the dense explosion sounds, the entire void was distorted by the powerful energy fluctuations from the collision. In an instant, the black god ant and Sin Tu were swept inside, forcibly stopping Sin Tu's thoughts of breaking out. With the help of the blood demon diagram's power, although Sin Tu temporarily possessed Nirvana's strength, his physical defense was far inferior to the black god ant's. After being hit by wave after wave of destructive power, his body's injuries continued to worsen. His flesh was torn in many places, revealing his white bones. Heavenly demon blood Sin Tu didn't care about his injuries. He burned all the blood in his body and used his ultimate killing move. This was because he knew that he had no way out. He could only fight with his life on the line. Otherwise, only death awaited him. Compared to the true demon tribe's demon king, you are too weak. Although Sin Tu had killed a large number of his tribe members and used their blood to increase the power of the blood demon diagram, giving him Nirvana's strength, compared to the demon king who had taken the Nirvana pill, there was still a large gap. The black god ant was able to severely injure the demon king, so he naturally didn't put Sin Tu, who only had Nirvana's early stage strength, in his eyes. His fists were like two dragons as he punched out. The terrifying power shattered the void and destroyed forest butchers' killing move as easily as crushing dry weeds and smashing rotten wood. His fists landed on forest butchers' chests. Crack! Sin Tu's defense was broken. His chest was caved in by the black god ant's attack. A large amount of blood mixed with pieces of internal organs sprayed out from his mouth. His entire body fell from the sky, creating a large hole in the ground. The power he used to fuse with the blood demon diagram was also destroyed by the black god ant. He lost his strongest power. The moment Sin Tu fell to the ground, Xia Wendy's star Dao diagram slashed down, cutting open the ground and cutting off Sin Tu's legs. With his legs cut off by Xia Wendy, Sin Tu was in so much pain that he wanted to die. At this moment, his heart was filled with regret. He regretted taking the risk to kill Yi Chunfeng. If he had used the blood demon diagram to force his way out, Yi Chunfeng definitely wouldn't have been able to stop him. Xia Wendy, black god ant, don't kill him. He is still useful. I want to search his soul. With the help of the heaven-returning water, Yi Chunfeng, who had recovered a portion of his soul power, shouted. The true demon race had hidden themselves too deeply. If he wanted to find their headquarters, he would have to search Sin Tu's soul. Don't worry, I will leave him with one last breath for you. Sin Tu's actions had touched Xia Wendy's reverse scale. Therefore, Xia Wendy showed no mercy to Sin Tuesday. She controlled the 4 beast flags to seal his body and prevent him from committing suicide. She began to vent the anger in her heart. In just 10 breaths of time, Sin Tu's entire body was torn apart except for his head. He lay in a pool of blood on the verge of death. He only had one last breath left. Now, can I soul search him? Yi Chunfeng asked softly as he slowly walked over. He glanced at Xia Wendy, who had beaten Sin Tu so badly that he no longer resembled a human. After obtaining Xia Wendy's tacit approval, Yi Chunfeng activated the soul-devouring art and began to search Sin Tu's soul. Soon, Yi Chunfeng obtained the information he needed from Sin Tu's soul. He exerted a bit of strength and directly broke Sin Tu's neck. An ambitious and ruthless character, Sin Tu, who was titled Yellow Springs, had fallen into the Yellow Springs and died. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the save button below to record this reading. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 976. Sin Tu was dead. When Kong Sungchen's group broke through the illusion and arrived at the forbidden ground of Sun Luo Temple, they saw Sin Tu's decapitated body and dead body with a complicated expression. Although they hated Sin Tu's ruthlessness, bloodthirstiness, and madness, he was still from the same generation as them. Now that he was dead, there was one less person from their generation and they would be even lonelier. Xia Wendy, 3 seniors, I want this blood demon diagram. Can I have it? After witnessing the might of the demonic blood diagram, Yi Chunfeng's interest in this evil object was piqued. Like person, like treasure. This saying was not wrong at all. Xia Wendy glanced at Yi Chunfeng and faintly said, Kong Sungchen's group did not compete with Yi Chunfeng and gave the diagram and Sin Tu's belongings to Yi Chunfeng. Come, let's go to Sin Luo Temple's treasury and take a look. This territory controlled by Sin Luo Temple will be given to you 3 seniors. After taking away the diagram and Sin Tu's belongings, Yi Chunfeng's group searched through Sin Luo Temple's treasury and found many rare items. Among them, there were many things that caught Yi Chunfeng's interest. After dividing up the Dark Azura Hall's treasury, Yi Chunfeng didn't go on a killing spree. Instead, he handed over the task of swallowing the Dark Azura Hall to the 3 great clans. They hurried to the true spirit devil realm, preparing to eradicate this malignant tumor of the Star Luo continent. They finally arrived at the dry lake. Yi Chunfeng's group flew for more than 2 days and arrived at a dark mountain range. In the depths of this mountain range, they found a lake embedded in the rock. Because of this special geographical environment, there was no vegetation around the lake. It was completely bare, and this was where the name Dry Lake came from. The true demon tribe really knows how to find places. If Sin Tu had not been here before, we would not have found it. Yi Chunfeng looked at the calm lake without a single ripple. It was hard to imagine that the true spirit devil domain was at the bottom of this lake. Come, let's go down the lake. Although the true demon tribe had an extraordinary foundation and a heaven-defying item like the Nirvana pill, the true demon tribe could not threaten their lives with the black god ant's protection. Bang bang bang, waves of water splashed as Yi Chunfeng and the others broke into the quiet and desolate lake. They immediately felt the power of the restriction. Crack! Yi Chunfeng and the others relied on their absolute strength to tear apart the hidden restrictions in the lake. Through the pitch-black and icy lake water, they could vaguely see a vast group of buildings at the bottom of the lake that were shrouded in restrictions. Ao ao, ferocious roars echoed from the isolation barrier at the bottom of the lake. 2 strange snakes, which looked like flood dragons and had huge lumps on their heads, swam up from the bottom of the lake. They opened their bloody mouths and bared their long fangs, attacking Yi Chunfeng and the others. Umph! A mere level 8 heavenly beast dares to attack us? Xia Wendy let out a cold snort. Suddenly, she approached an attacking black monstrous snake. A large amount of star Dao patterns gushed out from her body. She struck out with her palm, and hundreds of star Dao inscriptions turned into a dazzling star Dao diagram that blasted towards a black strange snake that was close to her. No dodge. The moment Xiao Wendai attacked, the God-Eater brain sensed something was wrong. Yi Chunfeng quickly appeared in front of Xiao Wendai, using his body to shield her. Boom! The black monstrous snake was attacked by Xiao Wendai's star Dao diagram and immediately shattered. Following that, a terrifying power erupted from the monstrous snake's huge body. Like an erupting volcano, it blasted towards Yi Chunfeng and Xiao Wendai. Golden body secrets suddenly attacked by the black monstrous snake's self-explosion. Yi Chunfeng didn't have time to bring Xiao Wendai into the universe realm. He immediately used the golden body secrets, covering his body with a layer of defensive golden light, forcefully resisting the self-explosion. When the first black monstrous snake exploded, the second one also approached at an extremely fast speed. It exploded its body and launched a fatal attack towards Yi Chunfeng. The self-explosion of the two black monstrous snakes was enough to kill an ordinary level 6 combat beast emperor. However, Yi Chunfeng's physical body's defense was too terrifying. With the help of the golden body secret's defense, he forcefully resisted the self-explosion. PFFF Yi Chunfeng and Xiao Wendai were blown away by the self-explosion. Yi Chunfeng endured 90% of the attack and was heavily injured. A large amount of blood spurted out from his mouth. Yi Chunfeng, are you alright? Seeing Yi Chunfeng spitting out blood to save her, Xiao Wendai immediately supported him and asked anxiously, I'm fine. Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. He then controlled the life Dao pattern to heal his injuries. Thank you. Xiao Wendai looked at Yi Chunfeng, who saved her time and time again. She was quite touched. If it wasn't for Yi Chunfeng sacrificing himself to save her, she would have been heavily injured with her physical body's defense. Everyone, be careful. This true spirit devil domain is very dangerous. After controlling the life Dao pattern to heal his injuries, Yi Chunfeng and Xiao Wendai came to the side of Kong Sungchen and the others. They worked together to break open the void restriction formation and entered inside. No one, looking at the true spirit devil domain that looked like an underwater dragon palace, Yi Chunfeng immediately released his soul spirit. However, he realized that there wasn't a trace of life in the entire true spirit devil domain. After sensing the danger, the true demon race had already evacuated this place. Now that the true demon race was empty, Yi Chunfeng and the others were empty-handed. Come, let's go in and take a look. While speaking, Yi Chunfeng led the group into the empty true spirit devil domain. Yellow spiritual essence sculpture, jade spirit stone tree, purple jade crystal. After entering the true spirit devil domain, Yi Chunfeng and the others found plenty of undamaged rare items. If these rare items were to be sold in the outside world, they would be sold for a sky-high price. After dividing up these rare items, Yi Chunfeng and the others followed the long corridor that was engraved with plenty of totems and walked into the true spirit devil domain. They discovered that in a 100-herb garden, there was a half-meter tall tree that was dark purple in color. It had sparse branches and leaves. 2 sparkling fruits that looked like lychees were hanging down. Violet jade fruit. That was the violet jade fruit. After looking at the 2 lychee-shaped fruits, the eyes of Kong Sungchen and the others lit up with excitement. The violet jade fruit was a sentient item. It bloomed every 100 years and bore fruit every 100 years. Not only could the violet jade fruit nourish one's body, but it also had the miraculous ability to increase one's lifespan. Wait a moment, Senior White. Is there a problem with these 2 violet jade fruits? Just as Bai Feng was about to step forward and take the fruits, Yi Chunfeng suddenly called out to him. Could it be? After hearing Yi Chunfeng's voice, Bai Feng stopped and retreated a few steps. Would the true demon race be so kind as to leave such precious items to us? After saying this much, Yi Chunfeng directly shot a sword-type Dao pattern toward the violet jade fruit. Boom! Boom! When the violet jade fruit was attacked by the sword-type Dao pattern, it exploded without warning. The terrifying power directly blasted a bottomless hole in the ground, causing space to collapse. As expected, it was a trap. Xia Wendy ground her teeth and said, "Let's go and take a look at the main hall." Yi Chunfeng's heart didn't have any ripples. When the collapsed space gradually recovered, he led everyone into the pitch-black True Demon main hall. When he entered the True Demon main hall, he suddenly stopped in his tracks. Then, he revealed a bitter smile. On the white jade carved wall of the True Demon main hall, there was a line of graceful handwriting. "Yi Chunfeng, the man I like, I'm leaving. Don't miss me." "Yi Chunfeng, what is your relationship with her?" When Xia Wendy saw the words left on the wall, she immediately guessed that it was left behind by Shui Hanyan. It was as though she was a little wife who found out that her husband was cheating on her. She stared with a pair of big eyes and questioned fiercely. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Collect button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 977. Ancient Pine, Strange Peak, Waterfall, Taoist Temple. After leaving the True Spirit Devil area, Yi Chunfeng, Xia Wendy, and Black God Ant came to the Taoist Temple where they met Luo Shun and asked to see him. Watermark advertisement test Kong Sungchen and the other two returned to their respective families and gathered the top masters of their families, preparing to launch a counterattack against Xingluo Sky City. Junior Yi Chunfeng greets Senior Luo. "I wonder if Senior Luo can show himself?" Yi Chunfeng bowed deeply towards the dilapidated Taoist temple and said respectfully, Junior already knows the secret of Xingluo Sky City, and is preparing to gather the power of White, Jiang, and Green Jade Palace to destroy the foundation of the Sky Clan. I wonder if Senior can show up and help." Yi Chunfeng waited for a while and continued, "Let's go, Xia Wendy." After speaking, Yi Chunfeng turned and walked to Xia Wendy, who was standing on the side. "He left just like that?" Xia Wendy asked in surprise. "You don't want to wait any longer? If Senior wants to hear it, then you will hear it. If Senior doesn't want to hear it, then it's useless to wait." Yi Chunfeng smiled and said, "It seemed to make sense." Xia Wendy nodded. After speaking, they didn't wait any longer. They left the broken temple and flew out of the beautiful mountain range. As soon as they left, a blurry figure appeared and glanced at the direction they left. His body slightly flashed and then mysteriously disappeared. "Yi Chunfeng, let's go to Xingluo Sky City now." After leaving the endless mountain range that was like a dragon crouching in an abyss, Xia Wendy asked softly. "No hurry," Senior Jiang went back to gather the masters. "It will take about 10 days to get to Xingluo Sky City. I want to go to Falling Star Pavilion first to see the situation there." Yi Chunfeng shook his head and said, "Falling Star Pavilion, why go there? Is your little lover there?" Xia Wendy asked suspiciously. "Xia Wendy, can't we have a nice chat?" Yi Chunfeng was speechless. He rolled his eyes at Xia Wendy and said, "The Falling Star Pavilion helped me before, and Sha Bingyun and the others know about my relationship with the Falling Star Pavilion. I am afraid that the Falling Star Pavilion will be retaliated because of me." "Those people that helped you were all women, right?" Xia Wendy curled her lips and said. Yi Chunfeng was speechless. "All right, let's not waste any more time. Let's go to the Falling Star Pavilion." After saying that, Yi Chunfeng took Xia Wendy and flew towards the Falling Star Pavilion at an extremely fast speed. According to the topographic map of the Xingluo continent, Yi Chunfeng entered the territory of the Falling Star Pavilion after traveling for nearly 2 days. Yes, there's a fierce battle ahead. Let's hurry over and take a look. Flying over a lush forest, Yi Chunfeng's sharp soul perception detected a fierce battle in the forest. Raising his eyebrows slightly, he immediately flew over. Xing Keru. After flying closer, Yi Chunfeng saw a familiar figure through the dense shade of the trees. This familiar figure was the Falling Star Pavilion's vice pavilion master, Xing Keru. Sure enough, the Falling Star Pavilion was under attack. Yi Chunfeng's eyes flashed with a fierce look. His whole body suddenly accelerated. Like a bolt of lightning streaking across the sky, he flew over and appeared in front of Xing Keru, who was covered in blood and heavily injured. Wind and dust. Xing Keru, who had fallen into despair and was bleeding from her chest, suddenly saw a person appear in front of her. She was stunned. When she saw that the person descending from the sky was Yi Chunfeng, her eyes widened and she fell into a deep surprise. Damn, where did this wild brat come from? Die. A man holding a black spear, wearing silver armor, and with a clear scar at the corner of his eye, roared and thrust his spear at Yi Chunfeng's chest. Under his all-out attack, the spear in his hand was like a flood dragon emerging from the sea. It was unstoppable, and the friction caused the air to emit an ear-piercing sound. Facing this fatal spear, Yi Chunfeng did not dodge. Instead, he extended a finger and tapped it. When his fingertip touched the tip of the black spear, a sharp sword Dao pattern shot out from his fingertip. The terrifying power directly pierced through the high-grade heaven-tier black spear, and its might did not diminish as it pointed at the shocked silver-armored man. Chi. The silver-armored man was sent flying by Yi Chunfeng's finger. The unstoppable finger light directly pierced through the silver armor and pierced through his body. Bang! The silver-armored man was sent flying 100 meters away. He crashed into an ancient tree that was dozens of meters tall, and his head tilted to the side as he died. Yi Chunfeng instantly killed a supreme king with a single finger. This shocked everyone present. Seizing this opportunity, the injured Falling Star Pavilion disciples quickly retreated behind Yi Chunfeng, seeking protection. Are you from the Falling Star Pavilion? A half-step combat beast emperor elder with white hair and wearing a dark gray robe looked at Yi Chunfeng with a deep gaze and questioned in a low voice. No. Yi Chunfeng replied with an indifferent expression. Since you are not from the Falling Star Pavilion, I advise you not to get involved in this mess. Otherwise, your life will be in danger. Yi Chunfeng's finger strike was too stunning. The gray-robed elder was shocked. He did not want to have a direct confrontation with Yi Chunfeng, so he warned coldly. I don't believe in evil. Yi Chunfeng's lips curved up slightly, and he said domineeringly, Plus, you guys are not enough to threaten my life. Although you are strong, you are only one person. House Xiahou is the overlord of this region. Do you think you can shake House Xiahou by yourself? Seeing the sharp light shooting out from Yi Chunfeng's eyes, the gray-robed elder had no choice but to use House Xiahou to pressure Yi Chunfeng. Yi Chunfeng from House Xiahou revealed a trace of murderous intent and said domineeringly, It won't be long before I erase House Xiahou from Xingluo continent. Who do you think you are? A proud expert from House Xiahou roared angrily. I am Yi Chunfeng, the Black Cliff Yi Chunfeng that Sha Tianya mentioned, said arrogantly. Black Cliff. Hearing Yi Chunfeng's name, the experts from House Xiahou widened their eyes. A tremor that came from the deepest part of their souls spread throughout their bodies, making them tremble as if they had been electrocuted. You are really Black Cliff? The gray-robed elder with a pale face gulped and took 2 steps back, asking in horror. Do you think I am lying? Yi Chunfeng's lips curved up slightly, revealing a grim smile. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng took a light step forward, and the sword diagram appeared. The extremely sharp sword-based Dao pattern shot out and attacked the shocked gray-robed elder and the others. In just one breath, the 13 experts from House Xiahou who were chasing after the Falling Star Pavilion died in a pool of blood, leaving only the half-step combat beast emperor alive, the gray-robed elder covered in blood. Witnessing the scene in front of him, the gray-robed elder spat out blood and retreated in defeat. His eyes widened, and his body trembled as if he had a stroke. At this moment, he completely believed Yi Chunfeng's identity. He knew that words were useless, and that he had reached the end of his life. blood slaughtering the world, the gray-robed elder roared, burning all of his blood and chi, and launched a fatal attack towards Yi Chen-feng. His whole body merged with the long spear in his hand, and turned into a bloody shadow, stabbing towards Yi Chen-feng, wanting to injure him before he died. Rumble! A deafening explosion rang out as a giant hand of 5 elements descended from the sky, causing the world to tremble violently as it pressed down on his body. It directly crushed his body and ended his life. Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 978. Feng Chen, you broke through again? Xing Keru and the others were stunned when they saw Yi Chen-feng's shocking strength. Watermark advertisement test watermark advertisement testes. I broke through not long ago. Yi Chen-feng nodded and said, by the way, Vice Pavilion Master, how are you on Feng Manyu and the others? How is the Falling Star Pavilion now? Yuan Feng is dead. He was killed by the Falling Star Pavilion. Man Yu, Miao Yu, and the others are trapped in the Falling Star City. Their situation shouldn't be good. We took the risk to break out of the encirclement to get reinforcements, but they chased after us. If we hadn't met you, we wouldn't have been able to escape. Xing Keru said angrily. Yuan Feng was dead. Yi Chen-feng's expression became extremely ugly. He had a good impression of Xing Yuanfeng, who was straightforward. Moreover, if Xing Yuanfeng hadn't met him, Yi Chen-feng felt that Xing Yuanfeng wouldn't have died, and the Falling Star Pavilion wouldn't have suffered any retaliation. Sha Tianya, I will kill you. Yi Chen-feng's eyes flashed with murderous intent. He wanted to kill the culprit, Sha Tianya. Don't be sad. Let's go to the Falling Star Pavilion now, and make House Xiahou pay for what they've done. Xia Wendy flew over from the horizon and appeared beside Yi Chen-feng, who was filled with murderous intent. She comforted him softly. Come, let's go to the Falling Star Pavilion. Yi Chen-feng nodded. Then, he led Xing Keru and the others to the Falling Star Pavilion, which was in danger. When Yi Chen-feng and the others arrived at the Falling Star City where the Falling Star Pavilion was located, they discovered that there was a fierce battle taking place in the city. The thick smell of blood drifted in the air, dyeing the air red. Because the Falling Star Pavilion's overall strength was far inferior to House Xiahou, they suffered heavy casualties. However, most of the disciples of the Falling Star Pavilion had fearless expressions on their faces. They gave their all, using their blood and lives to protect the dignity of the Falling Star Pavilion. Xing Hongyang, are you still going to struggle in vain? If you don't obediently surrender, don't blame me for slaughtering all of your disciples and erasing your Falling Star Pavilion from Xingluo continent. Xiahou Longda, the head of House Xiahou, hovered in midair in a luxurious robe and a pair of cloud-soar boots. His bearing was extraordinary as he glared coldly at the Falling Star Pavilion's master. Humph, there are no cowards in my Falling Star Pavilion. We would rather die standing than live on our knees. The Falling Star Pavilion master, Xing Hongyang, snorted coldly and said fearlessly. Xing Hongyang, are you sure that I won't kill you? That's why you are speaking so righteously. Xiahou Longda smiled disdainfully and said arrogantly, that's right. You still have an important position. I won't kill you. However, before I hand you over to Xingluo Sky City, I can torture you. I wonder if you want to have a taste of my methods. Xiahou Longda's eyes blurred as soon as he finished speaking. A fierce gust of wind slammed into the left side of his face, breaking through his soul force defenses and sending him flying. A large amount of blood mixed with broken teeth sprayed out from his mouth, staining it with blood. This sudden scene also shocked everyone present, making them feel as if they were in a dream. Fuck, who is it? Xiahou Longda roared in exasperation. The aura that he had worked so hard to create was completely destroyed by this slap. He was so angry that he wanted to kill someone. But, as Xiahou Longde roared in anger, another figure appeared in front of him. Fuck, go to hell! Xiahou Longde locked onto the figure that suddenly approached him and launched a fatal attack without hesitation. He stabbed forward with a golden spear that was engraved with a large number of Tao patterns. Suddenly, a strong force of dizziness slammed into his mind like a heavy hammer, causing his soul to tremble. He felt a strong sense of dizziness, and his powerful attack was forcibly interrupted. In the next moment, both sides of his face were attacked consecutively. The ear-piercing sound of slapping rang out in midair and reverberated throughout the falling star city. House head seeing Xiahou Longde being slapped in front of everyone, two loyal elders of the Xiahou family quickly rushed forward and used powerful Tao techniques to attack the illusory figure in midair. They wanted to save the defenseless Xiahou Longde. When the two elders got close to the illusory figure, streaks of sharp sword light shot out from the illusory figure. They were like meteors that streaked across the sky, easily tearing apart their attacks and penetrating their bodies, killing them on the spot. Who are you? Xiahou Longde, whose face was completely unrecognizable and whose mouth was dripping with blood, witnessed the scene of two rank 1 combat beast emperors being instantly killed. The anger in his heart was immediately replaced by fear as he asked fearfully, "Who do you think I am?" Yi Chunfeng, who had rushed over in time, stood in midair and looked at the bruised and swollen Xiahou Longde as he spoke coldly. "Hey Yin, why are you here?" Looking at Yi Chunfeng's familiar face, a fear that came from the deepest part of his soul took over his entire body. Slowly, the fear in his soul turned into despair. His entire body began to tremble uncontrollably. "I've annihilated the Dark Azura Hall and the True Demon Clan. Naturally, I have to come here to take a look. Unfortunately, I saw something I didn't want to see the most. Therefore, you will have to pay with your blood for your atrocities," Yi Chunfeng said with murderous intent. No, young Master Heiyan, we were forced to do this. If we didn't obey Xingluo Sky City, our Xiahou family would be wiped out by them. We really had no other choice. Please, young Master Heiyan, be magnanimous and let us go. I promise that I won't step into the Falling Star Pavilion's territory for the rest of my life. After learning that the Dark Azura Hall and the True Demon Clan were annihilated, the last trace of hope in Xiahou Longde's heart was shattered. He was like a stray dog, wagging his tail and begging for mercy, begging Yi Chunfeng to spare his life. Don't you understand that the winner is the king and the loser is the bandit? Xiahou Longde, show me your backbone. That way you can at least die a glorious death. Facing Xiahou Longde's begging, Yi Chunfeng was unmoved and said without a trace of emotion, "You really won't let me go?" Xiahou Longde bit his lips tightly, trying to dispel the fear in his heart as he said with a trembling voice, "I want to avenge those who died because of you, so you must die." Yi Chunfeng said coldly, "Heiyan, I admit that I am not your match. However, the situation is basically under my control now. With a single order from me, at least 20 disciples of the Falling Star Pavilion will die with me. If you are willing to let them die with me, then do it." Xiahou Longde used his trump card and said, "Don't worry." The childish Yi Chunfeng said indifferently. As soon as he finished speaking, screams rang out from the fallen star city. The 3 level 8 heavenly beasts, Xia Wendi, Black God Ant, and Qiangu Qiu, who had been hiding in the city, suddenly attacked, slaughtering the experts of House Xiahou like autumn leaf. In just 4 breaths, more than 20 experts of House Xiahou died in a pool of blood. Demon, you are the demon." Hearing the screams echoing in his ears, Xiahou Longde fell into despair and said in fear, "You are right, I am the demon." As he said that, Yi Chunfeng suddenly attacked. Nearly 100 sword Dao runes slid along his arm, forming a 10-meter-long light sword that cut through all obstacles and slashed towards Xiahou Longde, who was defending with all his might. Chi! The sound of air being torn apart was heard. The sharp light sword broke through Xiaolongda's defense and cut him in half from head to toe, killing him on the spot. Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will see it the next time you open your bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 979. At night, the sky was filled with stars. The sparkling starlight and the warty moonlight intertwined, illuminating the land. After killing Xiaolongda and the enemy, Yi Chunfeng immediately escorted the people from the Falling Star Pavilion to the Jiang family, which was the closest to Meteor City. He temporarily arranged for them to stay in the Jiang family to prevent any accidents from happening. At the Jiang family, Yi Chunfeng learned that Kong Sungchen had already left the Jiang family's old mansion with a group of Jiang family experts and headed to Xingluo Sky City. He did not stay for long and rushed to Xingluo Sky City overnight, preparing to rendezvous with Kong Sungchen and the others to launch the final attack on Xingluo Sky City. "Father, our spies just sent news that Xiaolongda and the others are dead. Our plan to kidnap the people from the Falling Star Pavilion to threaten the Black Lava Nation has failed." Sha Bingyun, who was wearing a long black dress and had a unique aura that blended with the darkness, walked to Sha Tianya's courtyard. She looked at Sha Tianya, who was standing in the courtyard with his hands behind his back and looking up at the moon, and said faintly, "What a ruthless method! They completely destroyed all of my plans. The Black Lava Nation is truly my nemesis." Sha Tianya withdrew his gaze from the warty crescent moon. His face was expressionless, making it impossible for others to guess what he was thinking. Moreover, according to reliable sources, the Dark Azura Hall has been destroyed. Yi Chunfeng and the others even went to the True Spirit Devil Domain, but the True Spirit Devil Domain was already empty. They abandoned us and disappeared without a trace. Sha Bingyun said somewhat angrily. "I also thought of this outcome. After all, the Xingluo continent is not their world. Under the circumstances where the situation is out of control, they will definitely not take the risk to live and die with us," Sha Tianya said slowly. "Father, do you think we can survive this crisis?" Sha Bingyun said uneasily. Although they could borrow the power of Xingluo Sky City to increase their strength, Yi Chunfeng's power was too terrifying. Moreover, he had the help of a sacred beast. This made her instinctively fear him. Once they failed, only death awaited them. On the surface, Xingluo Heaven City belongs to our Sha family, and we are the masters of Xingluo Heaven City. However, the real master of Xingluo Heaven City is the Heaven Race, and we are only the representatives of the Heaven Race. Therefore, if they want to destroy us, it is equivalent to destroying the Celestial Race's inheritance. Do you think the Celestial Race will sit by and do nothing? Sha Tianya's eyes flashed with a fierce light. "Father, you're saying that there are still Tian clan experts in Xingluo Heaven City." Sha Bingyun's eyes lit up, as if she had grasped the last straw that could turn the situation around. "Although I have not seen anyone from the Heaven Clan in the past 10,000 years, I am certain that there are still experts from the Heaven Clan in the Xingluo continent, and it is highly possible that the experts from the Heaven Clan are in deep slumber in Heaven City." Sha Tianya said, "If we really have the help of the Tian clan experts, then we will definitely be able to survive this crisis. At that time, I will definitely remove the three great powers from Xingluo continent." Thinking about the strength of the experts from the lower realms of the Heaven Domain, Sha Bingyun's uneasy heart finally relaxed. However, what Sha Bingyun did not know was that Sha Tianya did not have full confidence in the upcoming battle. He still could not figure out how Yi Chunfeng managed to come out alive from the heavenly tomb, and what secrets he was hiding on his body. Time passed day by day under extreme pressure. In order to obtain the final victory, Sha Bingyun took control of the entire Xingluo Heaven City, and worked hard to eliminate any unstable factors in Heaven City. The defense of Xingluo Heaven City was also raised to the highest level to defend against any dangers that might appear in the ancestral realm. Roughly 10 days later, the experts from the Jiang family, Bai family, and Jasper Palace arrived one after another. They gathered in the Blackwind Prairie, waiting for Yi Chunfeng, Xia Wendi, and the rest. News of the three great powers' arrival had also reached Sha Tianya's and Sha Bingyun's ears. However, they did not act rashly. Instead, they patiently guarded Xingluo Heaven City. Only in Xingluo Heaven City could they display 500% of their strength. So. Two ear-piercing sounds suddenly rang out in the sky above the Blackwind Prairie. After rushing through the night, Yi Chunfeng arrived outside Xingluo Heaven City on a Pegasus, and Xia Wendi, who was riding on a black god ant, seeing Kong Sungchen and the rest who had been waiting for him for many days. Yi Chunfeng said apologetically, "My apologies, seniors, for making you wait for so long. We went to the Falling Star Pavilion and were delayed for some time." "Qingfeng, did you manage to invite that senior?" Kong Sungchen and the rest knew that Yi Chunfeng had gone to invite the guardian, Luo Shen, and asked expectantly. "Fortunately, I did not disappoint. Luo Shen promised that if the situation goes out of control and an enemy that we are unable to deal with appears, he will appear to help us." Yi Chunfeng revealed a faint smile and said. Hearing that Yi Chunfeng was lying, Xia Wendi immediately glanced at him. However, the intelligent Xia Wendi soon understood the reason why Yi Chunfeng was lying. He wanted to increase the confidence of Kong Sungchen and the rest and dispel their worries. Only in this way could they display their full strength. "That's good." Hearing that the guardian of the human race, Luo Shen, was willing to help, Kong Sungchen and the rest secretly heaved a sigh of relief and revealed a trace of excitement. "Seniors, how many formation flags did you bring?" Yi Chunfeng changed the topic. "The three of us brought a total of 3,700 supreme grade formation flags and more than 10,000 ordinary formation flags." Kong Sungchen and the rest did not hide anything. They took out all the formation flags they brought from their families and handed them over to Yi Chunfeng. When Yi Chunfeng plundered Sun Luo Hall's treasury and Sin Tu's relics, he also obtained more than 5,000 formation flags. Adding the formation flags that Kong Sungchen and the rest gave him, the number of formation flags he controlled was close to 20,000. It was enough to set up a huge formation that could resist Xingluo Sky City's sky-covering formation. "Wendi, there is no time to lose. Let's start setting up the formation now." Xia Wendi's attainments in formations were also very deep. Yi Chunfeng let her set up the formation with him. The formation that Yi Chunfeng wanted to set up was a powerful killing formation that he had deduced over a long period of time, using the God-Eater brain. He named this formation the Sky-Destroying Formation. After telling Xia Wendi the method to set up the Sky-Destroying Formation, the two of them began to control the 20,000 formation flags to insert into the air. They interweaved with each other and began to set up the formation. In order to increase the power of the sky-destroying formation to the limit and resist Xingluo Sky City's sky-covering formation, Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendi worked hard to set up the formation to the limit. After nearly 3 days of setting up the formation, nearly 20,000 formation flags were inserted into the air. They fused together and formed a sky-destroying formation that covered several hundred kilometers. It flowed with streaks of black light. "Phew, we finally succeeded." Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendi, whose faces were slightly pale, looked at each other and saw the excitement in each other's eyes when they saw the reproduction formation runes fusing together and complementing each other in the Great Heaven Extermination Formation. After setting up the sky-destroying formation, Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendi quickly adjusted their breathing and recovered the soul power and soul force they had consumed. About 6 hours later, Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendi had adjusted themselves to their best condition. Both of them merged into the heart of the Great Heaven Extermination Formation. With great tacit understanding, they simultaneously made complicated hand seals, controlling the great heaven extermination formation that was like a vast ocean, breaking through the layers of forbidden space patterns and ascending into the sky. Sha Tianya, are you ready? Yi Chunfeng's clothes fluttered in the wind as he stood in the heart of the formation. His roar was like a dragon's roar and a tiger's roar that shook the sky. It was like a thunderclap that reverberated in the sky above Xingluo Sky City. In the next moment, the sky-destroying formation was activated. It gathered the extremely multiplied Dao runes. Like a meteor shower or a river, it launched a fatal attack on the sky-covering formation that enveloped Xingluo Sky City. The final battle was about to begin. Remember the website. Sanwu Chinese Network. Chapter 980. Rumble. When the Sky Exterminating Array released its power and bombarded the Sky Enveloping Array that enveloped Xingluo Sky City, it caused the Sky Enveloping Array to tremble violently. A large number of array runes appeared in the vast void, condensing into a fog-like power that boiled in the void, tearing apart the Sky Exterminating Array runes. The Sky Exterminating Array runes that were like a surging river were constantly being torn apart by the Sky Enveloping Array. Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendi, who were at the heart of the array, were rapidly forming complicated hand seals to increase the power of the Sky Exterminating Array. Instantly, nearly 20,000 array flags vibrated and gathered into tens of thousands of Sky Exterminating Array runes. They continued to attack the Sky Enveloping Array, shattering the fog-like power of the array runes. The Sky Exterminating Array and the Sky Enveloping Array clashed fiercely in the nine heavens. It was like two armies facing off against each other. Rumble! 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 For a moment, all the sounds between heaven and earth were swallowed. The terrifying collision formed a terrifying shockwave that exploded violently in the void. Looking at the explosion of light in the sky, the people of Xingluo Sky City were stunned. The terrifying power made their legs go soft, and they had an impulse to kneel down and worship. What a good move! He actually thought of using an array to break an array and weaken the power of the Sky Enveloping Array so that we can't use the Sky Enveloping Array to attack. Sha Tianya stood at the huge city gate of Xingluo Sky City and couldn't help but frown as he looked at the two ancient arrays that were fiercely attacking each other. The Sky Enveloping Array was passed down from ancient times. How could his ancient array contend against it? Sha Bingyun, who was wearing a tight-fitting martial arts suit and had a curvaceous figure, said coldly with a mature charm. No, you have underestimated Heiyan's means. I can feel that the power of the Sky Enveloping Array is being restrained. The ancient array that he has set up has the upper hand. Sha Tianya shook his head and the solemn expression on his face became even more intense. Sigh, why is he my enemy? Sha Tianya sighed softly and muttered in his heart. However, he didn't know that Yi Chunfeng had met the 8 Slaughter War Emperor before. All the grudges between them originated from more than 10,000 years ago. The battle between the two ancient formations became more and more intense. The void couldn't bear it anymore and started to crack like a spider web. Suddenly, a huge crack appeared on the heaven enveloping array that enveloped Xingluo Heaven City, causing Xingluo Heaven City to tremble slightly. The great formation of heaven is broken. We are entering the city. Standing in midair, Kong Sungchen and the others, who were waiting for an opportunity, did not hesitate. They all raised their speed to the peak and flew toward the crack in the great formation of heaven, charging into Xingluo Heavenly City. Those who trespass into Xingluo Heavenly City shall die. More than 10 experts from Xingluo Heaven City went up to meet them. They summoned an extremely powerful array diagram, wanting to form an array to defend against the 3 great clans. Death the Black God Ant, who was leading the charge, let out a roar and threw a punch at the rapidly spinning formation. An unparalleled fist radiance shot out, and a force of more than 200 million Jin exploded the air, causing the airflow to surge and bombarding the gyratory formation with incomparable force. Gotcha! After receiving the Black God Ant's punch, cracks appeared on the formation. The terrifying force caused more than 10 experts from Xingluo Heaven City to vomit blood. They were in great pain. Earthquake technique. The black god ant's black tower-like body exploded with terrifying demonic energy. It attacked the heavily injured experts from Xingluo Heaven City at a speed of hundreds of times per second. Ping ping ping, flowers of blood bloomed in midair. After being attacked by the earthquake technique, more than 10 experts from Xingluo Heaven City cried out in pain. Their bodies exploded in midair and they died on the spot. The scene of the black god ant killing the experts from Xingluo Heaven City also shocked the experts from Xingluo Heaven City. For a moment, no one dared to approach it. Wendy, let's enter the city. After Kong Sungchen and the others entered the city, Yi Chenfeng and Xia Wendy also flew into Xingluo Heaven City. When the sky exterminating formation was fully activated, it did not need Yi Chenfeng and Xia Wendy to control it. It could attack on its own, making it impossible for Sha Tianya to use the sky exterminating formation to attack Yi Chenfeng and the others. Kong Sungchen, Bai Feng Xingbue, you really want to gamble everything and fight to the death with me, Xingluo Heaven City? Do you know that if you lose, there will be no place for your 3 great clans in the Xingluo continent? Sha Tianyao, who was wearing a star-patterned robe and had his hands behind his back, coldly looked at Kong Sungchen and the others and coldly threatened them. Sha Tianyao, from the moment you, Xingluo Heaven City, secretly colluded with the true demon clan and attacked our 3 great clans, you became our mortal enemy. If it were not for our good luck, we would have been annihilated. Bai Feng looked at Sha Tianyao with hatred and said in a low voice, let's not talk too much. In today's battle, either you die or I die. Sha Tianyao revealed an enigmatic smile and said, I don't know if you've heard of the saying, the greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. Perhaps the ending won't be what you imagined. As soon as Sha Tianya's voice fell, Kong Sungchen and the others' faces slightly changed. But when they thought of the person behind Yi Chenfeng, the uneasiness in their hearts disappeared. Sha Tianyao, don't you think you talk too much? Yi Chenfeng stepped on the void and walked over step by step. He said in an overbearing manner, usually, only people with a guilty conscience talk too much. So you are scared. Sha Tianyao laughed loudly and said, you are just a bunch of mobs. You can't make me scared. Forget it. Since you want to die, I will fulfill your wish. As he spoke, a huge shadow appeared in the sky above Xingluo Heaven City. An ancient staircase engraved with ancient patterns broke through the thick clouds and appeared. 9 levels of heaven staircase. Looking at the staircase that appeared in the sky, Yi Chenfeng frowned slightly. When he first climbed the 9 levels of heaven staircase, he felt that the 9 levels of heaven staircase was an extremely powerful treasure. But he did not expect Sha Tianyao to have the ability to summon the 9 levels of heaven staircase to attack. Back off, everyone, back off. Feeling the destructive power of the 9 levels of heaven staircase, Kong Sungchen, Bai Feng and the others' faces changed greatly. They immediately ordered their masters to back off. No need to back off. Let me send you to hell. As he spoke, Sha Tianyao controlled the 9 levels of heaven staircase that was suspended in midair to descend. With the power to destroy everything, it suppressed Yi Chenfeng and the others, wanting to crush them into minced meat. Ao under the suppression of the 9 levels of heaven staircase, the black god ant let out an earth-shattering roar and transformed into its huge body. With a strength of more than 200 million jin, it directly faced the 9 levels of heaven staircase. Boom boom boom, the 9 levels of heaven staircase suppressed the black god ant's body, causing a huge explosion. The terrifying power directly pierced through the black god ant's body and suppressed it, causing it to fall to the ground. Divine demon bloodline, seeing that the black god ant could not withstand the suppression of the 9 levels of heaven staircase, Yi Chenfeng did not hesitate to transform into his divine demon body. He erupted with a strength of 150 million jin and resisted the 9 levels of heaven staircase. Under the attack of Yi Chenfeng and the black god ant, the mountain-like 9 levels of heaven's staircase was forcibly resisted. A terrifying power spread out from the 9 levels of heaven's staircase. It was like a dancing snake that tore through the void. What should they do? After witnessing the power of the 9 levels of heaven's staircase, Kong Sungchen and the others' faces changed. The foundation of Xingluo Heaven City was far beyond their imagination. Their trump cards were unable to withstand the 9 levels of heaven's staircase. Do you think you can withstand it? Sha Tianya revealed a sinister smile. His entire body suddenly rose up and appeared on the 9 levels of heaven's staircase. He spat out a large amount of blood and fused it with the 9 levels of heaven's staircase, activating the power of this treasure. The 9 levels of heaven's staircase would suppress them to death. Sha Tianya revealed a sinister expression. He continuously increased the suppression of the 9 levels of heaven's staircase, ruthlessly suppressing Yi Qinfeng and the Black God Ant. He wanted to suppress them to death. Mobile reading website, book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 981. Pu Pui Chunfeng spat out several mouthfuls of blood under the full suppression of the 9th level heaven stair. His arms, which were supporting the 9th level heaven stair, cracked, and a large amount of blood spurted out uncontrollably. Watermark advertisement test. Watermark advertisement test. Yi Qinfeng, seeing that Yi Qinfeng's arms were injured and he was coughing up blood, Xia Wendy's heart clenched. Without the slightest hesitation, she took out the command medallion that Luotian had given her and was about to crush it to save Yi Qinfeng. Suddenly, a ray of light that was even more dazzling than the sun shone. With a speed that was more than 10 times faster than the speed of light, it bombarded the 9th level. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The 9th level was attacked by this white ray of light and trembled violently. The suppressive force that surged out from the 9th level was constantly breaking apart, greatly reducing the pressure on Yi Qinfeng and the Black God Ant. Xingluo Sky Wall. Xingluo Sky Wall actually took the initiative to attack the 9th level. Seeing the Xingluo Sky Wall take the initiative to attack the 9th level, the people who didn't know the truth were all dumbfounded. They couldn't understand why this would happen. Senior Star Emperor's clone really made a move. Yi Qinfeng dared to attack Xingluo Sky City because of 2 reasons. One of them was the human race's guardian, Luotian, and the other was the Star Emperor's clone in Xingluo Sky Wall. When he saw the Star Emperor's clone make a move, he knew that he had made the right bet. With the help of the Star Emperor's clone, even if Luotian didn't appear, he still had the ability to destroy the Heaven Race's inheritance and kill Sha Tianya to avenge the 8th Slaughter Battle Emperor. You really couldn't help but make a move. Sha Tianya looked at the beam of light that attacked the 9th level and shattered the suppressive force of Xingluo Sky Wall. His expression became extremely ugly. As the old city lord of Xingluo Sky City, Sha Tianya knew the secret of Xingluo Sky Wall. He also knew that the Star Emperor's strongest clone was hidden in Xingluo Sky Wall's 9-layer space. He wanted to destroy the Star Emperor's second clone more than once, but he failed every time. After the first attack, the heavenly star bulwark, which was flowing with white light, shot out another beam of light that bombarded the 9 levels of the heavenly staircase. It forcibly shook the 9 levels of the heavenly staircase and resolved the crisis that Yi Qinfeng and the Black God Ant were in. "Leave the 9th level, I'll deal with it." A vigorous voice resounded in the heavenly starry wall, shaking the 9 heavens and spreading for thousands of miles. In the next moment, there was a loud cracking sound as the heavenly star wall broke away from the main body and smashed into the 9th level of the heaven staircase. Boom! The 2 supreme treasures collided with each other like 2 meteorites, and the resulting explosion of power covered the entire void. While the heavenly star wall and the 9 heavenly stairs clashed, Yi Qinfeng summoned Qianguqiu, the spirit fish, the king of slaughter, and Fu Qingshan. Sha Tianyao, we will settle our old and new grudges today. I will kill you to take revenge for the 8 slaughter battle emperor. Although Sha Tianyao was the most powerful, Yi Chunfeng did not retreat in order to take revenge for the 8 slaughter battle emperor. Instead, he attacked with the Emperor Heaven's Sword. When the 8 slaughter battle emperor heard Yi Chunfeng's roar, Sha Tianya's heart was in turmoil. He stared at Yi Chunfeng and roared, "Who are you?" Sha Tianya was not the only one who was shocked by the name of the 8 slaughter battle emperor. Lian Xing was also in disbelief. She had already forgotten how long it had been since she heard this name. She also did not expect that Yi Chunfeng would be related to the 8 slaughter battle emperor. The person who will kill you. With that, Yi Chunfeng's attack speed increased again. The Emperor Heaven's Sword was like a bolt of lightning that pierced through the heavens. It pierced towards Sha Tianya's throat, wanting to pierce through it. Just as the incomparably sharp Tian sword pierced through Sha Tianya's throat, the ancient stars that were flickering with starlight shot out of Sha Tianya's mouth and blocked Yi Chunfeng's fatal strike. In the next moment, the heaven-suppressing orb that had been passed down for countless years appeared on his forehead. The power of the Heaven City surged into his body and continuously increased his strength. I really did not expect that you would be related to the 8 slaughter battle emperor. However, you are still far from being able to take revenge for him. With that, Sha Tianya sent out a palm strike towards Yi Chunfeng. It caused the air to explode and forced Yi Chunfeng to retreat. Yi Chunfeng, let me help you. The tall and beautiful Xia Wendy's body flashed and appeared beside Yi Chunfeng. She merged with the power of the 3-legged golden crow and fought alongside him. Lian Xing Bingyun, do not show any mercy. Use the power of the Heaven City to kill them. Sha Tianya shouted towards the slightly pale Lian Xing and Sha Bingyun, whose face was filled with hatred. Xingluo Heaven City's power, strengthen me. Sha Bingyun knew that today's battle was a matter of life and death. She did not hesitate to merge with the power of the Xingluo Heaven City to increase her strength. On the other hand, Lian Xing seemed to be deep in thought. No one knew what she was thinking. Lian Xing, if you don't want to see us die and the foundation we've painstakingly built over the past 10,000 years be destroyed, then use your full strength. If we lose today, there will be no place for us on the Star Luo continent. Sha Tianya's expression became extremely unsightly as he looked at the restless Lian Xing sigh. Lian Xing sighed softly and used the power of the heaven-suppressing orb to merge with the power of the Xingluo Heaven City. The instant she merged with the power of the Heaven City and increased her strength, the tall and sturdy black god ant suddenly approached her and punched her. The punch, which had a force of over 100 million jin, pushed her back several hundred meters. If not for the fact that the power of the Xingluo Heaven City helped her neutralize the majority of the attack, the black god ant's punch would have destroyed her body. When the black god ant sent Lian Xing flying, Yi Chunfeng and Xia Wendy joined hands and attacked Sha Tianya. Qingu Qiu, who had inherited part of the Tian clan's inheritance, ignited his heavenly bloodline and used the flying snow sword to challenge Sha Bingyun, who had reached the peak of level 6 combat beast emperor. The 3 strongest warriors were entangled by Yi Chunfeng and the others. Under the leadership of Jiang Xingchen and the other 2 level 6 beast emperors, the Jiang, Bai and Jasper Palace warriors were like wolves in a flock of sheep as they slaughtered crazily. Although Pajun and Ren Tu were among the top 10 rankers in the star field, they were not disciples of Xing Luo Tian City, so they didn't lend a helping hand. Instead, they stood aside and watched. On the other hand, Yu Feng, Blade Demon, and Xie Jian Zhe-ing raised their strength to the peak and wanted to help the experts of the Xingluo Heaven City. Where do you think you're going? Pajun's body flashed as he blocked Yu Feng and the other 3. He pointed his heavy meteor hammer at them and said domineeringly, "Pajun, we won't blame you if you don't help us. But if you dare to stop us, don't blame us for being impolite." Yu Feng warned angrily as he looked at Pajun, who was blocking them, with an ugly expression. Ha ha, with just you? Pajun laughed loudly and said arrogantly. After saying that, Pajun released a shocking power and launched a fierce attack at Yufeng and the other three. Sigh, looks like Xingluo Heaven City's time is really up. Witnessing the scene where Pajun suddenly attacked Yufeng and the others, the purple golden armored butcher guessed Pajun's identity. After hesitating for a while, he appeared beside Pajun with a dragon-head broadsword in his hand. Together, they launched a ferocious attack at Yufeng and the others, completely suppressing their attack. Boom! When the chaotic battle was getting more and more intense, an earth-shattering explosion was heard. Xingluo Heaven's wall and 9 heavenly stairs that had collided countless times could not bear the pressure and broke apart at the same time. The terrifying power caused the void to collapse, as if the end of the world had arrived. The official WeChat account still needs more than 600 people to update. Everyone, add me. WeChat account address, YLTY83 mobile reading website, book address. To make it easier for you to read next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support.